Oh, it hurts my ass. There we go. Just need a little bit more of a lift. Take the glass off. No fucking glare, my dude. No glare at all. Let me just see something in it. Shit, I gotta change that shit, man. Why didn't I change it earlier? Damn it. Hold on. Why do I do this to myself? Fuck, what else was it? What else? What else? What else? Alright, there we go. I think that's good. Why is it 2? I don't know why there's fucking 2 when I asked for 1. There we go. That should change it. Yes, there we go. There we go. Isn't that better? I don't know why I have that there, but you know. I didn't need it in the end. Right. So what am I looking for now? Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I thought there was something. Fucking hell, like. How am I supposed to see the chat? Let's go away, please. Go away, man. Come on, before my ice melts. Needed my drink, man. Needed my drink. What the fuck's that? Oh, damn. Oh. Right. I think we're all good. I think we're all good, man. This whether we can take away that. Where's it to? Come on, where are you? Where are you, Scoobert? There you are. What a fucking thumbnail, if that's going to be the thumbnail. There you are. Hopefully not. What a fucking thumbnail, if that's going to be the thumbnail. Hopefully not. Keep going to the wrong fucking one. There you go, that should be good. Right, guys, so yes, welcome to yet another Rage Reacts. I guess you can call it that. That'll actually be a good thing to call it, RageReacts. I guess you can call it that. That'll actually be a good thing to call it, If I can just get these fucking things off now, if I can hear myself think. There we are. I could call it RageReacts, to be honest. It's actually a good that's a good one. Fuck it, I'm changing it. I shall take that. Instead of just chilling and reacting, that's, you know, it's better than that. There we are. Boom, baby. So yeah, guys, what was I going to say? Oh yes, we have more videos to react to today. So if you don't know, we have like a bit more in depth about Star Wars Outlaws, a video on that, and there's a video on the Batman Arkham theories, which I'm interested in, and there's also the worst review of Batman Arkham Knight, which we'll see why, because that game is fucking just great. We'll get into the review and see how it is. And of course there was something about, you know, FatTok cringe, which is also going to be delightful, because we need a bit of cringe in these streams, don't we? Otherwise, what's the point in the reacting, you know what I mean? We need something which makes us think, what the hell? Why do we still live? Why? When there's people like this, who are so far up their own arse, that it's just hard to fucking just... It's just hard to see anything good left in the world. Right, hold on, I'm just doing my drink, because like yesterday, it's really fucking warm. Sadly, I can't have the fan on. You guys know why I said in the last stream. It's because it'll make a noise in the background, and I don't want anyone, like, getting annoyed by that. So I'm going to tough it out and then have a cold shower later before I go football. Which is good, you know, I love a bit of training. Problem is, it's fucking boiling, so I'm going to be sweating my ass off. Because I have to go training anyway. Well, I like going training. Because we have a game this weekend, so... You know? So, I'm going to get some of them minutes in. Alrighty then. So, are we ready to watch some goodness? Right, so let's just switch over. There we go. There we are. Yeah. Getting some OBS on. Alright. So if you don't know, here's my list. This is the list. I watched some of these videos last night. Because I was meant to do it in the day, but I had a lot of things going on, so I just didn't have the time to do that. But yeah, if you don't know, we watched the hilarious rip-offs of popular movies, which was an interesting watch. We looked at all the bad movies, which, like, you know, The Amazing Bulk, that terrible Bird Killer remake, I can't remember the fucking name of it, and other things which are like just a rip-off of like movies like from the Avengers and superhero movies and Jurassic World and stuff like that. It was interesting. I get interested watching stuff like that. We also looked at TikTok boy moms, which was yeah, very weird. I mean, but I'm not surprised by TikTok, because that's where a lot of weird things happen. So, yeah. And what else did we watch? Yeah, First World Problems of TikTok, which was a short and sweet cringe fest. But hey ho, let's see what else we have for today. I'm excited to see, but also terrified. So I hope you're all having a great day, whether you're watching this live or offline. And yeah, so let's just see what we're going to be looking at first. So I thought we would start off with a bang. We would go for this one. FatTok thinks the word obese is a slur. Now, just looking at this, I'm just thinking that, I mean, it was only a matter of time with these fucking weirdos, but I just... with these people, it's a matter of when, really, isn't it? It's always got to be some fucking victim mentality bullshit. But hey, oh, that's the internet. Everyone's a fucking victim. Woohoo! Yeah, baby! Why take responsibility for yourself when you can point the finger at others? It's so much easier, isn't it? It's everyone else's fault. It can never be mine. Right. I wonder if you can see the... can't really see anything there. Oh, never mind. Fuck it, we'll just go along with it. Because I can't see my video. I don't know why. Why can I not see my video? I don't know. But yeah, I put on my YouTube there anyway just to see, just make sure. Right, so let's go into this. Oh, FatTok.
Diversity.
Why the fuck is it? Oh yeah, I forgot to see. I didn't watch the video. I just like. I went a bit in and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. So, are we ready, guys? Are we ready? Am I in position? Am I centered? Yeah. Okie dokie. So, let's get straight into the cringe because that's what it's gonna be.
Alright, so our next patient. Oh, hey, Susan. What appears to be the,
Hello, Susan!
problem? Hey there, doctor, mate. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you, Susan? Doctor, I'm gonna be honest, mate. Not too great. I feel a lot of chest pain, right? And my knees hurt when I walk. Okay, well, Susan, the problem with... But that's not all, doctor. I run out of breath really easily, and I just feel tired all the time. Yeah, Susan, I think I might know what the problem you're having is. And every doctor I've gone to about this problem has just been really fat-phobic.
Yeah.
Always making comments about my weight and my diet, and it's just really insulting.
Wonder
Susan,
why.
I think they might be... No, yeah, I might be a bit... plus size, but it's got nothing to do with my health. I don't know why they keep bringing it up. One doctor even called me the slur obese. Excuse my language. Wait, the slur obese? What do you mean? What do you mean slur? God, they're all so bigoted and closed-minded. Doctor, I just want a solution to my problem. Can you help me out, please, mate?
I want a solution to my problem. I want people to fix it for me. That's how I want to do it. God, some of these people are so weak-minded. Like, I understand, you know, you have to go through a lot of shit to, like, especially lose that amount of weight. But then again, you put yourself in that position. But, like, you know, just trying to, like, blame others is just so fucking stupid, to be fair. It's very, like, weak-minded. But, yeah, to be honest, there are people like this these days as well who just, like, just love to throw around fucking buzzwords so they can get, like, sort of, the more, like, it's just the high ground, so. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're joking, right? Hello,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, Starlight and Huey. Welcome back to the channel. Or if this just so happens to be your first time here, then I'm not even gonna say it. Okay, you know. And before people go in the comments and say, oh, you sound so different, why do you sound so different? It's because I got braces, I got grills, okay? That's why I low-key have a little bit of a lisp, alright? Some words are still kind of hard to pronounce, but to be fair, most of it is faded by now, but it's still there just by a tiny little bit. And if you say you can't hear a difference, then I'm gonna give you flowers, okay? I'm gonna give you roses and dandelions.
Oh, how nice!
I was supposed to take a 2-week break off YouTube so my speech could recover, but I had to make this video. This is just retarded. Now, before I go on and on and on, let me just preface this by saying I don't have a problem when people complain on the internet. Honestly, I don't. I'm doing it right now. If someone wants to sit down and complain about something, then honestly, I think that's perfectly fine. Sometimes it's funny, constructive, and actually entertaining. It only becomes a problem when you're crying and whining about something which you yourself can control. It's one thing if I complain about Cocoa Pops tasting like shit because they took the sugar out. I don't know why they did that, but it's different.
Did they actually do that? Well, I haven't had Cocoa Pops for a while, so I don't know, but, like, did they actually do that? Wow. Oh, well, that's not good, is it? Why would they do that to Cocoa Pops? But then again, the way things are with obesity and stuff, so I'm not surprised. I mean, yeah. I need to fucking sort this thing out a minute. Hold on a minute, guys. Very quickly. Right, where is just trying to sort this out. Am I able to? No, I can't. Well, that sucks. the fuck? Why am I not allowed to, like, Ah, never mind. Fuck it, who cares? Let's just continue on with what we're doing right now.
Different if I'm the CEO of Cocoa Pops complaining about the same thing. Like, do you not see how stupid that would be? You fucking made it, you twat. And similar to that, if you complain about getting made fun of on the internet while you simultaneously act like a retard on the internet, you're a fucking idiot. I don't feel like I'm breaking new grounds here. This shit should be obvious. In conclusion, don't complain about things which you can solve through your own actions, okay?
That's true. Like, the thing is as well, right? I feel these days people try to be unique. Everyone tries to find like they're trying to be something different, just try and stand out. Which, like, I get, but some people go way too overboard, and the sort of things happen we just saw right there on screen, where people pretend to be things. I don't know why they just do, like, you know, whether it's a furry, where they pretend to be a baby or something like that. But yeah, it's very strange, and it just reeks of desperation, to be fair. Like, I know we all want to find our place in this world and find out, like, you know, trying to figure out who we are and stuff like that. But there's just a time and a place as well, you know what I mean? Like, if you want, if, like, keeping this stuff to yourself, or just, you know, talking about it with friends, if they're, like, you know, if they're accepting of that, you know, that's fine. But I don't know, I just feel it is all for attention as well, because people, like, I mean, why would they post it on the internet, really, yeah? Like, they know it's probably going to be embarrassing, and they do it anyway, so obviously it's for attention. There's a lot of people who are attention seekers, I feel, these days, where they just, you know, they have to have it. They have to have, like, you know, strangers' approval over the internet. Because that's what, like, you know, that's what makes them feel validated. So, but yeah,
I thought this would be common sense by now, but clearly the internet has reduced all of our IQs by at least 200. And for some reason, I don't feel like it's gonna get any better anytime soon. But easily one of the dumbest communities on the internet is the fucking body positivity, fat liberation, body diversity, plus size. Literally every single other word under the sun other than what they actually are. Obese. You are obese, okay? Yes. You're not body liberated, you're not plus size. A fucking large Coke at KFC is plus size. You're just fucking obese, man. You can call it whatever you want. It is not gonna change that fact. We've been over this several times, and like,
I love how I said y'all stop sleeping on us fatties. Well, we'd rather that than you sleep on us, because, you know, I want to breathe. So I know that's sad to say, but it is the truth. Like, people these days are so sensitive, and they just, like, oh my god, I don't fucking know what to say. It's just so, I find it is so, like, harmful to not just anyone else, like, you know, that's obese and thinks and doesn't know if it's good or bad, and then watching stuff like this. Like, these people, whether they like to admit it or not, they do promote obesity in a way. Like, I mean, they can say, you know, they promote body positivity, but they also promote obesity, which, like, I think if you are happy being that way, then that's fine. But to be fair, this is what I think, right? When it comes to these people saying, like, oh, they're happy the way they are, I don't think they are, deep down. That's just what I feel. And the reason for that is because, like I said, when I was a lot bigger, right, I didn't really show that I was unhappy with my weight. If people will go, like, I've just got people like, I'm fine, I'm right like this, whatever, and stuff like that. But down the line, I knew I was kidding myself. I knew I had to make that change. So I think, like, it's all just, like, when it comes to these people, it's all in their head, like, they don't need to change. But like I said, it could be down to laziness, I feel, or it's just down to actual delusion, where they feel that there's nothing wrong with this. So, like, you know, I'm happy the way I am. So, like I said, if you're happy the way you are, and, you know, that's fine. But, like, this sort of thing, like eating yourself to death, is harmful. It is. And I'm not trying to be nasty. That's just the reality. Like, you can see from these people on the photos here, like, you know, especially the woman with, like, was it like nose breathers, like, and she's probably still quite young as well, and she's having a fucking nose breather to, like, probably when she goes to bed. You know, you got this woman right here, like, eating all this fucking food to herself. Well, I think it's to herself. There's someone else here with her, like, maybe not. But I don't know. It is sad though. But like I'll say, if you have one life, if you want to live it the way you do, then that's fine. But don't try to make this a thing where like it's a good thing, like it's a healthy thing. It's fine. It's good to be yourself. But it's not good to use your one life to be in a lot of pain and have a lot of issues and like miss out on a lot of things because you can't do those things because of your weight. I think that's bad. You should be able to enjoy the most out of life. Like, I'm not even saying that you should be like, oh, really fit and everything like that, like have fucking abs and muscles and all this sort of stuff. Just be like a sort of like a weight which is like balanced, which is like, you know, you can still do the things that you want to do, but you also have like a balanced sort of diet. You're still being active, but you're still enjoying eating what you want. That's just the thing. It's just people go too overboard. I'm not going to just say that it's not just people who are obese. It's also people who are like who are like, you know, it's like anorexia and stuff like that. Like, it is, you know, it is an issue. It is a problem. And like I said, I'm not like for like just instantly giving up on people. I really hope, who knows? I really hope these people just have that realization and try to lose their weight so they can live a longer, healthier life. But judging from their attitudes, it's pretty difficult that's going to be the case. So, yeah.
Like I've said in those previous several times, no one cares that you're obese. If you want to sit down and eat pizza and ice cream all day, go ahead, okay? We don't care. People only start making fun of you when you complain about being overweight. You can't cry and whine about thin privilege when you sit down and eat enough food to feed a family of 4. These people are so fucking tone deaf it hurts to watch. I've literally seen some accounts on TikTok where they'll go, oh my god, my jeans won't fit. They need to make bigger jeans, and then they'll simultaneously post what I eat in a day, and it's the worst food ever. Like, the solution to your problem is right there. It's on your account, you fucking wanker. But the worst thing these people do is that they'll genuinely convince themselves that there's nothing wrong with being obese. Do I even need to go over why that just doesn't make any sense? I've done it before, so I don't think I need to, but I will say that looking like this can, will, and is going to kill you. And is 100% gonna cause you health issues down the line. Like heart problems, kidney problems, joint problems, bone problems. Do I even need to go on? I mean, that short list is bad enough, but the full one is pretty fucking bad. Now, I'm not saying that people who aren't fat don't have these problems, but I am saying that if you are fat, you are much more likely to have these problems. That's not me being fat phobic, that's me using what they taught me back in primary school. Children know this.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing. These people who do this, if you go to them like, oh, you're gonna get all these problems, you're gonna like, you know, you're gonna have a lot of issues because of your weight. Some of these people are still young, so they're gonna be like, because they haven't got some of these issues yet, then they're just gonna like sort of like discard that sort of argument. They're gonna go like, well, I'm healthy and everything at the moment. I feel like I don't have any issues. That's the thing. I feel a lot of these people lie. They just lie. So like it fits the narrative. Like, it's just like it's ridiculous, to be fair. But yeah, that photo of the cat, how adorable. So yeah, like, oh, what was I fucking saying now? Like I said, you can get problems. That's just the reality. That's the inevitable. If you keep eating yourself to the point where like either you're bedridden or you just struggle to walk to the front and back of your house. I mean, it's sad to see. It's sad to see. Like, and you know what's really strange as well? Like, when I go to the gym, right? I have more respect for the people there, because I've seen people there they seem like they have a good amount of weight on them, and they're trying to lose it. I have a lot of respect for people that do that, you know? I'm not going to laugh at people that do that, because I just go to them, at least you are trying to get that weight off, and that is, like, fair play to you. Good on you for, like, actually realizing that you have a problem with your weight, and you want to try and become better. Whereas some of these people are just living so much in their own little world, in their little bubble, and they don't want to come out of it, that they just, like, any sort of criticism that comes their way and warnings from people, because they just, maybe there are some people who just want to help. They just sort of, like, just discard it and say that, oh, you're a fat phobic, you know, you're all this sort of things, you just hate us people who are fat, you know, you don't really care, and, you know, you just want to, you know, just try and, like, harm us and shit like that. It's so stupid, man. But like I said, people have their own life. If they want to live that way, then that's completely down to them. It's just, like he just said here, right? We're not laughing, we're not having a go at people because on TikTok because they're fat. We're doing it because they're basically lying to themselves and their audience, I feel. You know what I mean? I'm all for, like, you know, being yourself, but, like, there's certain, like, lines which I don't think you would want to cross, to be fair. And that is being really obese, so, yeah.
Most people know this. Even you fat people know this. That's why they love the delusion of fat just being a body type. To which it's not. It comes with many different issues, but alright. They go as far as to call people fat phobes, which is a pretty rational fear, if I'm being honest. No one in their right mind would want to look like this. Absolutely fucking no one. It's just in recent times, there's been a really weird push into glorifying this stuff. The silly, health at all size, my body is beautiful dog shit that no one actually believes has, for some reason, become a main statement in today's modern media. And it just keeps getting worse. Here we have the word obese trending on Twitter. Or X, or whatever the fuck people call it nowadays. I don't care. Now, to everyone who actually enjoys their life and doesn't use Twitter, you're probably wondering, why was the word obese trending? Well, now the word a
quick thing here, right? I actually still call it Twitter. And my missus, yesterday, I think she called it X. I've never actually seen someone in person call it X. And she said, like, she was just joking around saying, like, oh, you're using the old man term now, are you? You're calling it Twitter. I'm like, no, I just find it weird calling it X. It's always been Twitter to me. I mean, I even seen someone online call it Twitter X. I mean, just sounds like a fucking, like, social media supervillain. But yeah.
Obese, the medical term obese, is considered a slur. Yes, a slur. The word should now be censored and treated like the N-word. Honestly, I couldn't make
What? What? I did not think that, like, they were gonna fucking bring that out. Jesus. I bet that didn't fucking go down well on Twitter. That couldn't have gone down well. Fucking. Well, I'm fat, right? If you call me obese on the street, you basically call me the N-word. That's it now. That's it. It's confirmed. You may as well be calling me the N-word. What the fuck is wrong with people? They're trying so hard to be the biggest victim that they can be in their life. It's pathetic. I have to say, it's pathetic. It's getting to the point where it's just becoming downright pathetic, and they... Oh, wow. Wow, man. Wow. Like, obese has never been a fucking slur. It's never been anything like that. I would say fucking, if anything, fat is probably more of a slur than obese. But what I think they're doing, I think they're trying to, like, as time goes on, they're trying to, like, make any word that relates to being fat a slur. Because I swear they tried to do the same thing with fat, didn't they? Saying if you call me fat, then that's a slur. I swear it's like I'm having fucking deja vu in this shit. I swear I've heard this before. Fucking obese. I think obese is a bit of a nicer word to say fat. Jesus, man. Jesus. Y'all need Jesus. Oh, wow. How can you say that? Can we just... I just want to predict now, right? If this person in this video is going to show the comments of that tweet, it's got to be negative. Saying that is fucking... Whoa.
This up even if
Man.
I try. Even though I have zero expectations of anyone on the internet, I'm still somehow disappointed.
I can always identify someone who doesn't have a great grasp on history if they see medicalization as a stamp of inherent virtue. This comes up a lot when I talk about how the word obese is a slur. At least one person will always pop their head out of the ground to say, obese is a medical term.
It is!
It quite literally is. It says it right here. It's a medical condition that people can get diagnosed with.
As if that somehow makes it better.
No, that would just not make it a slur. It would make it a medical condition.
You know what else used to be a medical term? Like a lot of bad shit we don't say anymore. Because we realized it was stigmatizing as fuck and it actively harmed people.
You know what else actively harms people?
Yeah.
Obesity.
I swear, like, what the fuck, man? This day and age, anything is fucking offensive to someone. There's always one person that's going to be offended by fucking something. And then they make a fucking big thing out of it and they start to, like, try to get other people on board with their absolute delusion. It's just so funny yet sad. Like, it is a medical term, that's the thing, though. It is. I don't think the word is not even punchy. It's not even like, ooh, it's sort of like a bad word. It doesn't roll off the tongue very well, does it? No, it's just obese. It's just these people, right, who are obese, right, they're not helping everyone else who's obese. Like the people who are not, like, online or don't have their own channel, they're just living their life, they're trying to maybe lose the weight themselves. They're not helping these wasn't there a whole thing, right, where, like, people on TikTok, like FatTok, whatever, isn't it, like, I swear you were talking about it before, where they were shaming people who were obese and trying to diet and all that, and trying to lose weight? I swear I saw something like that. These people are not positive. I don't care what, like, I will say this, right, in the words, right, of Randy Orton, I remember him saying, like, well, this is not his exact words, but he calls it, like, the power of positivity bullshit. So that's what I think of this, the power of positivity bullshit. Like, all this is just fake. It's fake. To me. All this fucking, like, oh, yeah, be who you want to be, acceptance, all that sort of stuff, right? Yet these people have no problem shaming others. They have no problem trying to, like, sort of move the goalpost and make up their own fucking rules. And then also shame you for, like, breaking those rules then. I don't know, these people just never strike me as accepting and all about love and positivity. It's not. It's just all fake, dude. I've always found it through the years, like, it's fucking fake. Come on, like. Like, you need people to tell you how it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice and all just to be like, oh, be a part of a community that's like, oh, everyone's being all nice and stuff like that. But you need that sort of, like, reality also in there as well. Like, you can't just live in a world where it's all sunshines and fucking rainbows and everything is all nice and cozy. You know what I mean? Ah, Jesus.
You fucking twat.
Yeah,
And unlike
yeah,
words,
yeah.
obesity actually harms people on a biological level. And even if you call it something else like round or big-bodied or morbidly obtuse, it's not gonna change the fucking issue. Because it's not a derogatory term, it's a health problem. People are still gonna suffer from obesity whether you call it obesity or not. My God, I never thought I'd ever have to explain that.
Science and language are both constantly evolving and updating. The medical establishment is not exempt from this. If anything, it's actually a particularly strong example of how this happens. We don't need to look too far back into history at all to see how medical terminology and practices change.
Yeah, well, that's due to a little known fact called technology. The reason why medical practices change is due to technological advances. Back in the day, they didn't have technology to pinpoint each medical issue. But now we do. And with that knowledge, we can tell that being morbidly obese is not good for you.
For example, homosexuality is no longer diagnosed as a mental illness. Female hysteria is not something that's diagnosed anymore.
Ah yes, two psychological thought processes which don't inherently kill you. You know guys, I think I'm starting to see the relation between that and having plaque literally cover your organs. Yeah, they're definitely the same thing.
Cocaine and heroin are no longer prescribed as anesthetics or cough suppressants. Lysol cleaning spray is no longer used as a douche. We don't perform ice pick lobotomies anymore. And doctors no longer advocate for the health benefits of smoking cigarettes. Oops.
You know, it's almost like there's a way for doctors to tell if there's something biologically harmful to you. I wonder if they can still do that. Oh well, I guess not. Is her argument here that...
Do you know what I do love though as well? Like, when it comes to like your argument about like but they've changed all these other things. You know, these stuff weren't, you know, they had to change them because they weren't good for you back in the day, right? I love how they changed that. They said, oh, these not good for you, but obesity is still the same. Obesity is still not good for you. I fucking wonder why. It's probably because it fucking still isn't. You know what I mean? It never has been. So changing it, there's, you know what I mean? Whereas other things, like, you know, like you said and everything, has been changed because, well, they needed to be changed. So doesn't that just, like, you know, make you think that, yeah, obesity is still a fucking problem and it's still an issue? I love how these people, though, man, they just fucking... People just go on TikTok, they pull like, these little fucking subtitles in and stuff like that, and, you know, just to, like... they're just so... It's just me, right? But people on TikTok like this, they always seem so... What's the fucking word for it? So, like, smug. So smug about it. I don't know what it is. It's like a sort of smugness about these sort of people on TikTok. Yeah.
That science is just outdated and that there's nothing unhealthy about being overweight. Because if that's the case, then she'd be wrong. The same way that we know smoking cigarettes is bad is...
One more thing. If obesity is not an issue anymore, well, it shouldn't be an issue that this woman thinks, then why are people still dying of a young age from obesity and the issues and stuff? Why are they still dying? Fucking answer that. If there's nothing wrong with being obese, why? Why are people still dying at a young age, like in their 30s and stuff like that?
The same way that we know overeating is bad. You'd expect a fully grown adult to know this.
More importantly, when a marginalized group tells you that a word or practice harms them, you can just go ahead and believe them.
Oh God.
Oh fuck.
I love alcohol.
Do you know what? That's actually... Oh, should I? Do you know what? For this particular video, I'm gonna fucking do it. I know it's 12 in the morning, but I think it's appropriate for this video. Stream, I mean. It's appropriate. It's very appropriate. Let me just get like a fucking spoon or some shit. Hold on. Very appropriate. Now, I don't usually drink this fucking early. I never really do. But this this is a time which I feel that it is appropriate to do this. So yeah. I don't have fucking work tomorrow anyway. So fuck it. It's very appropriate. La-da-dee-da-da-dum. There we go. Might just put it back in the fridge because I like it cold. I don't want it to go warm. If you want to know what it is, by the way, it's amaretto. It's amaretto. Lovely. Oh, God. Woo. I just need something, man. I need something to take the edge off of this. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I fucking watch these right now? That's what I think. Yeah. I've been like an amaretto recently. Well, it's amaretto di Serrano. They're usually just the same, except amaretto is cheaper. But to me, there's not much of a taste difference. I'm usually a whiskey man myself, but like, yeah, I've been like an amaretto. So, but yeah, I think it's just appropriate. One drink, you know, it's needed. Ooh, my ass. Why is my ass like that? Is my stream doing alright? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Rightio, let's get back into it. Let's get back into this shit. Oh my god, we're only like 9 minutes in. Oh, so much fun.
I love me some alcohol. Listen, buddy, I'm glad to have you at the bar and all, but I think you've had too much. I think you might be an alcoholic. Hey, you can't say that word. That word is a slur. I don't appreciate that word. That word is very harmful. Listen, I'm sorry, man. I know the word alcoholic might be harsh, but this is your 13th drink. I think you might have had too many. No, I fucking haven't. You know what? I'm sick and tired of people using that derogatory term against me. I don't think you understand just how harmful that word is to me. So pour me another fucking pint or else I'm gonna put my boot up your bollocks. Dude,
Up your bollocks.
you're an alcoholic. It doesn't matter what word I use here, the problem is this guy drinks too fucking much. I don't understand how people can argue against this. My point here is you can call it whatever you want, it's not gonna change the fact that obesity is an underlying medical condition. And if you view that as offensive, well then that kinda contradicts your entire fat liberation argument. I thought it was okay to be morbidly obese. Why is it now all of a sudden a word that shouldn't be said?
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity.
Oh my god, she just said the O word. Twitter, cancel her. No, but seriously, what are the rules here? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it a word that no one should ever say? Because if so, then I have a few replacement suggestions. FatTok, feel free to contact me. But this all just feels like...
Wait a minute. Let's have a look, man. I want to look at the suggestions.
Because if so, then I have a few replacement suggestions. FatTok, feel free.
Chunky monkeys. That sounds like something I would get called when I was younger. Burger bodied. Wally people. That's my favourite. Bloated Bowsers. Salad dodgers. Oh, fucking Wally people. Man. They just got bodied. They got burger bodied.
To contact me. But
Walking
this all just
lasagna.
feels like they're just ignoring their health. Like one big everyone close your ears and go la 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 la. I don't want to hear the obese word. To which, okay, fine, but that's not gonna change the fact that you are obese. Oh, sorry, I meant you're plus sized. And so is the plaque in your arteries. Good luck with heart disease.
Obesity is a noun, and it doesn't describe how large something is.
Well, actually, the word obese is an adjective, and is a word used to describe a large human being. So, no, you're wrong.
We don't say that that house is obese.
The word obese is used to describe people, genius.
The term obesity comes with judgment. Not a judgment of the size of that person, but of how they became large.
What are you talking about? By definition, it literally is used to describe how large someone is. At this point,
These people, right? That's just so fucking like. Do you ever feel that that's what they're just doing? They're just like trying to move the goalpost. They're trying to like lie to themselves in a way, trying to worm their way around the situation, just try and make it sound like better. Like, you know, oh, it's not as bad, guys, because this and that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I found out and everything. I don't know. I think that's just what I feel. Is just like they can't come face to face with the reality, like dead on. They have to sort of like worm their way around the topic to try and like stay away from the sort of the end, the end goal. Like, well, I say the end goal, more like the reality. What can I call it? The reality line. That's it. The reality line. The finish line. Oh boy, oh boy.
you're just throwing in random shit in to make it sound like you know what you're talking about. The word obese is a chronic disease that impairs health, okay? You can try and shift the definition all you want, saying all this fucking judgment bullshit, but it's not gonna change the fact that being obese is bad for you. It's not neutral, it's fucking bad for you.
Word comes from Latin, meaning to overeat, which puts the blame on the larger person.
Where else is the blame supposed to go? Me? Is it my fault that you can't go outside without a fucking scooter? Or is it your fault because you refuse to eat a salad once in a while?
As if food carries moral value. It doesn't, and we should stop using this word.
Well,
No.
obviously it doesn't hold moral value, it's just food. The food itself isn't the problem here. The problem is when you eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories of it every day. You can change the word all you want, the problem is still gonna be there. You fucking idiot. I don't like that word, can we change it? Mate, the word's not the fucking problem. The problem is that your internal organs probably look like Indian street food. You're the size of 3 people and most of you can't even sit down in a chair. You want to change the word to round? You want it to be plus size?
I know this sounds quite sad, but I'm going to say it anyway because fuck it. When they do those sort of things on TikTok where they're moving about and stuff, I think that's the most exercise they had in that day. I just get the feeling, well, not all of them. Not all of them, probably some of them are like, you know, they just done other stuff, you know, just trying. But I feel that there are some of those people on TikTok, that's the most exercise they've done. Fucking hell, man. What's fucking happened to people, dude? What has happened to people where, like, you know, like, when it is what it is, like, you know what I mean? Like, where people, like, just when it was a problem, it was pointed out, and that was, you know, it tried to get changed. All this fucking, like, blaming others and all that sort of bullshit. Like, them saying, like, God. It's all about self-control as well. These people just don't realize this self-control is needed. I mean, we all know, like, there's so many different brands. There's so, like, a lot of, like, good food and bad shit and all that sort of stuff. But, like, and it is hard because some of us, like, some of us, like, when it comes to self-control, we have our moments where we sort of, like, drift off. But, like, yeah, dude. I just hate all this, like, blaming others for your own problems. It's such, like, it's sort of like a kid throwing a temper tantrum. When you see, like, that's just what it is, really. And it's so annoying. It is.
Eyes want to be fucking morbid. It doesn't make a difference because the health problems that obesity cause are still gonna be there. Oh god, these people are so brain dead.
Why is it offensive to call someone fat who is fat?
Hello, certified fat person here.
Ah, god, you know, at this point, I can just tell what kind of response I'm gonna get just from looking at them. I don't even like using this word, but this is literally the Karen haircut. Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's hear this one out.
And I'm more than happy to answer your question if you really do want an answer. which I'm not so sure you do.
Just get on with it.
Anyone that has that sort of haircut and stuff like that, just be wary. I'm not saying that they're instantly a bad person. I'm just saying just be wary. Because I've come across there's a decent amount of people who have this sort of like, I don't know why they have this sort of haircut and stuff like that, and they have a screw loose or something. Not saying that's everyone, but just be wary.
Start, I refer to myself as fat, and I don't care if other people refer to me as fat, and that's because I don't see the word fat as a bad word. Even if someone tries to insult me by saying you're fat, my response is yes and.
I mean, yeah, she's not wrong. Yeah. It's not a bad word. It's just a pretty bad health condition. And also, if that's the
like, just go like, oh, thanks for pointing out the obvious. Hope you have a good day. There we go, something like that. Just say that. Just say that to them. You know, yeah. I've known this for years. Just try to like joke about it, like, you know what I mean? Because then that sort of takes their power away from you when when they're calling you fat. So just just say, yeah, what of it?
Kason, why the fuck does everyone get so upset about the word obese? Is it because obese sounds worse than fat? I mean, it does, but they both lead to the same
I don't know.
conclusion. Heart disease.
It took a lot of work to get to this point, and that's because, like many other words in our language, the word fat has a dark history where it has been used to belittle, insult, and dehumanize.
But for the most part, to educate, because being fat is not a good thing. It's not a fucking body type like in a video game. No, it actually has consequences in real life. The way you talk about being fat is like it's like being short or having a big nose or having big lips or some shit like that. Those are inherent characteristics which you can't change. You are just literally killing yourself.
So for a lot of people, it's very difficult to shake this history when they hear the word fat.
Because it's an inherently bad thing. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, bone and joint issues, digestion issues. Do I even need to go on?
And if you want the word fat to be used in the same way as skinny, thin, fit, then you need to use it in a way that's not derogatory, which quite frankly, you did not do in your video. So if someone you deem fat prefers to refer to their body as curvy or plus size, they have every reason in the world to do so, and you need to respect it. Thanks.
What difference does it make? Listen, mate, if you'd rather be called plus size, then yeah, whatever, sure, fine. The problems you get from obesity...
I think these people, like, they've abused the word plus size. Like, say, for example, right, a plus size, someone who's curvy to me is someone who has, like, a sort of hourglass sort of shaped figure. Like, they probably have a bit of weight. But, you can tell that they, like, it's just, they maintain a good balance. When it comes to plus size, I do think of, like, women who are just, I don't know, a bit bigger, but these people are not, like, people like this are not plus size. They're not. Their weight goes beyond plus size. But I feel that they try to fit in the plus size category to try and make themselves feel better about it. That's just the reality of it, really, And like I said, I do feel a bit of like I do feel like a bit of sympathy for people like this. Is because, like, I understand. Well, I don't understand to their sort of like extent. You know what I mean? But like I said, I understand in a way. Like when you constantly eat to try and like try and sort of get rid of the pain of whether it comes to your mental health and stuff, and you feel like you're in a fucking, it's like that scene from like Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, where like Christian Bale is stuck in a fucking well and trying to get out, and it's difficult. But I think the reason that I can't have that much sympathy for people like this is because they not only lie to themselves, but they lie to other people over the internet to an audience. That's why I can't really. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
are still gonna be there. How many times do I need to say the same thing before it drills into your abnormally large head? Whether you call it obese or not, it's still gonna be not good. But I guess this rational use of logic can't be expected from FatTok. I mean, they all collectively thought it was a good idea to call themselves FatTok, for fuck's sake. But another app that rational thought process can't be given to is Twitter. Obviously. I feel like anyone familiar with Twitter could have probably guessed that at this point. No one uses their brains on there. People even found a way to find political discourse in a McDonald's advert. The people of Twitter even got mad at PewDiePie for being a happy, loving father. This app is actually hell. Like, actually fucking hell. I refuse to believe that anyone who uses this app is happy in real life. But of course, if they can make big issues out of literally nothing, I don't see how any of these are controversial by any means. But you wouldn't believe the fucking uproar when it comes
To me, when it comes to Twitter, I used to love, well, I used to really like Twitter. I remember, like, when I first came onto Twitter, I was like, what was it, like late 2015 or something like that, when I first came onto it. I remember being a part of, like, because that's when that's when I started my channel, so I wanted to sort of, like, you know, just get my name out there and stuff on social media platforms, like other ones. And I came across a community of people who were gamers as well, and it seemed pretty chill on Twitter. And obviously, you've got people like supporting each other and all that sort of stuff. And it was a good time. I met some wonderful people who I just enjoyed, you know, interacting with and stuff like that. I collabed with some of them as well, and it was that was fun. The videos of those collabs are still up on YouTube if you want to check them out. I think if you go on, like, I don't know if it's still his name, but, like, the Dan Loaded. Yeah, remember him? He's a cool guy. Like I said, I haven't talked to him in so long, it feels. But, yeah, I remember that was the case. And then eventually, as I started to go along in Twitter, it started to become this sort of, like, toxic cesspit of people that were just enjoyed complaining and politicizing everything. Like, even to this day, I go on Twitter and I post a few shit here and there, and obviously when I'm live and stuff like that on my YouTube and all that. But that's all I really do. But when I used to be on Twitter, I used to be pretty active. Like I said, supporting other people and everything like that. It was, you know, just having a good time. But Twitter's not like that anymore, because it's always, you get these people who just always constantly go on about how shouldn't be allowed, this person's a dick, all this sort of stuff. It's just constant battle that leads to nowhere when it comes to Twitter. Just people just being arseholes for the sake of being arseholes. Like, I'm not saying as well that's everyone, because I've still come across some people who are pretty chill. But that's what I just feel. It's not a place of, like, fun anymore. So, like, it's pretty tricky to find people who are actually just, like, you know, pretty cool. But yeah, I always look back at that and think that's a shame. That's a fucking shame. I think ever since the fucking, like, I know it sounds like, you know, nitpicking, whatever. It's ever since, like, the 2016 election. I think that's when things got worse. Like in America, people just started to go at each other's throats all the time, and they're still doing it to this day. And it's sad. And if you want to know my whole stance on politics, I don't fucking care. I don't care about politics in the slightest. Like, people on both sides, they annoy me in different ways, and it's irritating. I just want to get on with my fucking life. I don't want to, like, have to politicize shit and all that. People just get so weird about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that.
To the word obese. Now, I look at dumb people all day. I look at silly people all day. And even I've got to put my hands up and say, these are some of the dumbest fucking retards on earth. FatTok is one thing, but Twitter is another fucking planet, man. Babe, obesity is a medical slur. Love your body. If you want to exercise and eat healthier, that's great. but don't be scammed and bullied into making yourself smaller. There is nothing wrong with being fat. Well, I fucking beg to differ. This shit kills people, you know. But I guess my main question here is, how is weight loss a scam? I mean, yeah, sure, there are some shady weight loss practices, but for the most part, the weight loss journey itself is always a good thing. It's good for your heart, joints, mobility, overall health. You get to live longer. You actually get to sit down in chairs and you don't have to worry about a weight capacity. And you can actually walk without having to waddle around like a fucking penguin. This isn't bullying, this is just facts. Oh wait, sorry.
Oh, one more thing I forgot to say as well is that I feel as well with these fat talkers, if that's what you're gonna call them, they always like talk about like one of their excuses will be like, oh, but even people at a good weight can still, like, you know, die of things and get issues and stuff like that. But I would say, like, that's, oh, what was I saying now? I'm fucking my words up now. But yeah, when you say that, it's like, at least when you're at a better size, you have more of a chance of living longer. And that's what it is, really. Anyone can get any illness or whatever at any size, but being at a balanced weight gives you more of a chance of living longer, I feel. That's the thing. So, I'm just saying, because some people have said that. They try to make that, like, you know, a comeback, like, oh, you know, but...
Sorry about that. I forgot I wasn't supposed to use rational thinking when talking to someone who uses Twitter.
Oh no!
When you see the fatphobic slur obesity, replace the word in your mind with fat people or fat children, and then see how the headline or proposal reads. Oh god. Anything you propose to do about the fatphobic slur obesity is something you're proposing to do to fat people. And the reason why the word is a slur is because it makes you forget that fat people are people. Okay, no, mate. No. Whenever someone makes the statement that they want to get rid of obesity, they're talking about the illness obesity. They want to get rid of what these people have and not the people, because they will live a lot shorter lives if they don't get rid of it. Obesity isn't a group of people, it's a health condition. Whenever someone says I want to get rid of cancer, they're not saying they want to kill everyone with cancer. They're saying they want to get rid of the illness, you idiot. Don't even try and defend the fatphobic slur obesity by saying it's a medical term. It's a medical slur. Is that even a thing? Is a medical
she fucking owned them. It's a medical slur. Am I right, guys? Up top! Well, then again, it'd be much slower with them up top. These jokes, I know they're sad, but, you know, the opportunity's there, right? I get that itch. I need to, like, take that opportunity. But yeah, it's a medical slur. These people love they love their buzzwords. They love them. It's like a nice comfort blanket for them. Oh, I love it when I shame people by telling them that they're bigots and shit. Oh, it's great. I have nothing else better to do with my life, so why not?
slur even real? It's either you have the condition or you don't. I don't see how that can be derogatory. It's the word doctors use to deny fat people medical care. Yeah, we know it's used in medicine, causing they're using it to kill us. What? You know what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Whenever a doctor gives a fat person health advice, they are just denying them healthcare. Yep, you're right. I hate the term so much. It's so dehumanizing. I felt like a fucking specimen when I read the note my doctor wrote for me in order to get reasonable accommodations at work. You know, just getting a little bit silly here. You can do things in your life. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they could possibly be. There are some things out there which can help you lose weight, okay? I don't know what they could possibly be, but they are out there, so if you don't like being obese, then you could maybe give it a try. Just an idea. The term obese is a slur, violent, dehumanizing, it's anti-black. Well, as a colored crayon myself, I don't see how. How can a biological health condition be racist? I am losing faith in our species. Hey skinnies, the word obesity is a fat-phobic slur. Stop interacting with posts that use it as a way to combat fatness. I fucking hate y'all for that shit. If you're not fat, stay out of fat people's business. And if you disagree, literally block me.
Oh my god, block me. That's how you know that that person's lost the argument. Is that when they tell people to block them because, you know, if they have any different opinions to them. Oh, what a great way to, like, you know, have a conversation is, like, if this person doesn't think everything the same as me and compliments me, then they get blocked. I always find that fucking pathetic. Like, people are going to have different views and opinions to you. Just fucking accept that. You know, if there are things that are going to be said that you don't like, but, like, just agree to disagree, then fucking walk away. That's just a thing. People don't understand that. They just feel that, like, oh, I have to block everyone, because then what happens then? You'll be like constantly blocking people who disagree with you, and then you'll just have a sort of echo chamber where, like, you just have people who say the same thing as you, which is not good. It's not good for you. You need people to challenge you. You need to be challenged. Everyone needs to be challenged in their life. That's just the way it is, because that, in a way, that makes you into a better person, because you start to, like, learn. You learn things which you didn't learn, you didn't know before. You know what I mean? So I would say, unless someone's, like, actually, like, harassing you, sending you death threats and stuff like that, unless they're doing, like, actual, like, you know, saying they want to do harm to you, you know, then obviously you block those people, but don't just block someone because they're criticizing you. You know what I mean? That's... Oh, God. Just wow, man. And then back to the other woman, she said, like, obese, the term obese is racist. How in the world is that? How is it racist? It's not. See what I mean? See, this is just further proof to, like, that's they just try to make certain words out to be something which, like, has no correlation, in order to try and, like, shame people for saying the word. It's not a slur. It's not violent. It's not dehumanizing. It's not anti-black. It's a medical term, right? And I will continue to fucking say it. Obese is not as bad as word as fat. Fat, I feel fat has more of a punch to it. Fat is worse. That's why I don't get it. I mean, I just feel it is. Like, for example, you know it's the punchier one because, like, for example, if someone is, like, having a go at someone who's fat and they're getting really pissed off and everything, which one do you hear the most? You know, you obese fuck or you fat fuck? Which one's more likely to come out of that person's mouth? Obviously fat fuck. Because it's more punchier. That's what I don't get. It is more of like, it is the worst. It is worse than obese, in my opinion. But yeah. And this face by here, like, that just sums me up right now. I'm just like, I'm just going to say right now as well, simply put, these people need to get a life.
Okay, well, you're gonna fucking die. See you later, bro. Calm down, calm down, calm down. It's a joke. It's a joke. Kind of. The term obese is a slur because it is used to dehumanize and harass us. It's not because our feelings are hurt by an accurate description. Well, it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how it could be anything else. It is an outdated term that does more harm than good. And as such, it should be eradicated. That's it. I've said it many times before and I'll say it again. Just because you get rid of the word doesn't mean you get rid of what it actually is. The causes and effects of obesity are still gonna be a thing whether you call it obesity or not. How hard is this to understand? It's almost like education is illegal wherever you people are from. My god. Mercedes claims that obesity is a slur used to exact violence on fat people, particularly black, disabled, trans, poor fat people.
What? Obesity is attacking everyone now. It's no holds barred. Oh wow. Oh wow, man. It's not attacking anyone. For fuck's sake. It's all about fucking people who are obese, who are fat. It's not about, it's nothing to do with people's skin color or if they're disabled or they're trans or whatever. It's about people who are fat and don't want to help themselves. Seriously, man.
People. Oh God, I'm starting to genuinely feel my brain melt at some of this bullshit. What are you talking about? Honestly, what are you talking about? A medical term used to diagnose people is now claimed to be violent. This can't be real life. They want to be victims so badly. It's so fucking cringe. You'll never see anyone defend anorexia or chain smoking like this. So why do they do it for obesity? God, this is so fucking weird. Now, I'm not going to claim to be a medical professional by any means, because I'm really not. I only studied anatomy, physiology, and nutrition for around a year in college, right? But even with the little amounts of information I have on the subject, I still have more than enough knowledge to claim that being morbidly obese is not a good thing. It's not like a neutral body type like in a video
Nice titties, by the way, dude. Right, what's happening
game
here?
which has no impact on your gameplay. No, it's not like that. It's a serious medical condition and is terrible for your health. You don't even need to study anything to understand that. I feel like most people can tell what a healthy body looks like compared to an unhealthy one. As long as you have more than 2 lines on your brain, then you should be able to know this. And yet, we have these people. But not only has this ideology seeped itself onto TikTok and Twitter, but it's also seeped itself into actual medical professionals. Honestly, I wish I was joking.
If you are obese, please don't ever let a doctor or a healthcare provider tell you that you need to lose weight before they investigate further a symptom that you're having.
You have to be just a guy in a costume, okay? There is no way you have a medical license. Oh my days, how dare a medical healthcare provider provide medical healthcare? That's just ridiculous. If you are clinically diagnosed with obesity, then you should lose the weight. If a medical professional tells you to do so, then you should probably do so. A reliable medical professional who actually uses biology, not this bell end.
If they want to delay getting a lab or getting imaging or having you see a specialist, if they want to delay that because they say you need to lose weight first, you need to push back on that person. Or you need to find someone else.
Why?
Why is it a bad thing? Like, pause at that. Why is it a bad thing anyway to say to someone to lose some weight? Man, people even just get into the fucking like so-called doctors. Like, to be honest, right, if I had people like this who was my doctor or anything like that, I would just be like, yeah, whatever you say. Fucking hell, man. I mean, wow.
If you're obese and you're suffering from symptoms and you decide to lose the weight, there is a high possibility that those symptoms can lessen down, making treatment a lot easier for everyone involved. Any doctor...
See, look at that. Look at that. Like, watch this.
From symptoms and you decide to lose the weight, there is a high possibility that those symptoms can lessen down, making treatment a lot easier for everyone
this person right here.
involved.
This person right here. Look at them. Look at them now. They look great. And do you know what's another thing as well? They look happier as the pictures went on. And fair play to people like this, putting in the hard work and and dedication to get into like, becoming better in their body and everything else like that. Fair play. Yeah.
Any doctor in their right state of mind would understand this.
Because your health problems are not just blamed on your obesity or the amount of fat tissue that you have.
Yeah, you graduated on Roblox, bro. There is no fucking way you have a master's degree. This may be news to you, doctor, but being fat itself is a health issue and will be the cause of 99% of the problems these people have. You'd like to believe a doctor would know this.
You are allowed to have other health problems as well, and you deserve the respect and dignity of investigating those other symptoms as well.
Yeah, but what about the main symptom?
Like, there's probably a reason why he's whispering this as well, so his other colleagues don't hear the bullshit that's coming out of his mouth. You just go by, oh, fucking hell. Brad, what are you fucking talking about on your TikTok now? Seriously, dude, we just, you're just making us all look bad in here. What the fuck, man? But I have to tell people the truth, Gerald. I have to tell them the truth. But it's not the truth. You're just talking out your ass. Now get off the phone. We have work to fucking do, Because that's what you do when you actually working. Well, you should be fucking working right now. You're on the job. But you're doing your little fucking TikToky and you're just not fucking getting on with it. He's like, I hate it here. I fucking hate it. What the fuck? Why does no one listen to me? The only reason we let you, you know, the only reason we gave you this job is because there was no one fucking else to do it. We didn't have many good options, really. I like making a whole story out of things, you know, just painting a picture. That's what I like doing. Even though it's probably inaccurate, you know, it's just fun to do.
That is visible. Are you serious? If this person walks into your office and says, "Oh, doc, my joints hurt," are you gonna say, "Oh, let me go investigate that further"? No, idiot. The problem is pretty obvious. It doesn't need much investigation. You'd like to believe a medical.
That is, oh wow. See, that's what you know is a fucking problem, when you can't even fit through a fucking door. And people will probably say this. Will probably say this person, "Oh, you don't need to lose weight. You're stunning, beautiful, and sexy as you are." When even your own fucking hips can't fit through the door, man. Come on, that's a genuine like problem. That's when you should know that, oh my god, I need to fucking turn my life around, because it's not good. I think that point, like, it's gotta hit you like at least a bit. But no. Do you know what this people like this will probably do? They'll probably go like you know, to these stores. They go like, "Why don't you have bigger doors?" You know, you're just you know, being like all fat phobic and stuff. You're not doing any good for us plus size people. You need bigger doors. Just get like really one guy in the background. There's no door that can fit. I'm joking, of course, but like but that's what these people do. It's the same with that woman who, remember that woman who was like complaining about the seats on the plane, and she did like these TikTok videos saying that, oh, like, you know, they need to be like oh, I can't remember what it was. Was it like she wanted bigger seats? Was it bigger seats, or was it like bigger corridors or something like that? I don't fucking know. But either way, it seemed like she wanted to double the size of the plane. Like, I saw that instead of like, you know, actually, you know, getting better, you know, losing the weight and being able to like sit in a seat comfortably when you go on holidays, she wanted everything else around her to change. That's what these people are like. They want everything else around them to change. You know what I mean? And if they don't change, then they complain about it and they call it fat phobic, and they try to shame others and say like, you know, you're doing this because I'm this and that. You know, I should get sympathy. You should get bombarded with this hate because, well, you know, you're going against the way my life is. So, I mean, I can't do anything about this weight. Clearly, I can't. What can I possibly do to get it off? But that's the thing, though, dude. In life, there are things which happen. And if changes are needed on your side, the best thing you can do is change. Even though it may take a good amount of time, it's best to try and make those changes for yourself. You know what I mean? Because in my eyes, that makes you more like, down the line, it makes you stronger, more resilient, and you just become like, just like a stronger person in general, really. Because you know that, you know, right? If those changes are needed to be made, you will make them. You will make those changes. Whereas some people will just go like, I don't like change. I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like people like this where everything else has to change for me. It's ridiculous, man. I watched that video of that woman on the plane and stuff, and it was like, I mean, just seriously. I don't know. That's the way it is, really, innit? That's the way some people are.
Professional would understand this, but clearly not. Jeez, man. Us evolving backwards really was an understatement. We've got people genuinely walking around thinking that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being morbidly obese. And there's even people thinking we shouldn't even say the word obese, whilst also simultaneously thinking that there's nothing wrong with being obese. But if that's the case, then why shouldn't we be able to say it? I mean, is it a slur? Is it liberating? Is it fat phobic? I don't even fucking know anymore. Every time I try and understand this stuff, I just get a headache. But there you have it. Modern society. Calling people who are objectively unhealthy is now derogatory. And the word obesity should now be censored, but at the same time should be liberated and celebrated, and just, I give up. Every time I come back to this plus size agenda, it just makes less and less sense. But anyways, guys, this is in fact the end of the video, and if you liked, please leave a like, and if you didn't, then feel free to degrade me in the comments. I hope my braces and newfound speech didn't affect the video too much, but if it did, then sorry about that. I'm still in my adapting phase, so I'm not fully normal just yet. But like I said earlier, I had to make this video. There was no way I was ignoring this. But yeah, hopefully next video I don't sound like fucking Timmy Turner. But with all that said, all my links and socials are in the description. Feel free to follow me on anything. I hope all of you guys did enjoy the video. But until next time, make sure to drink your water and get enough sleep at night. Okay, goodbye.
You know why being overweight is one of the smartest things you could do? Just imagine a zombie apocalypse and there's no food left. Overweight people keep all the food in their belly, therefore, they would live longer than people who aren't overweight.
Clearly, I got a good one for this one. Well, clearly this woman has never seen Zombieland. Do you know one of the fucking rules in Zombieland? It's usually the fat ones that get fucking eaten first. Because, well, the thing about the zombies and stuff, well, it depends what sort of zombies you get. I mean, they do get... Then again, depends what sort of speed you can go at. But, like, you know, the zombies are going to get you because, like, if you get, like, the fast ones from Zombieland, you're not going to outrun them. So I think the whole point of view, like, oh, but we'll survive longer because we have enough food in our belly. That's not going to matter because your insides will be being torn out way before that point by zombies who can run a lot faster. Just saying, like, clearly missed Zombieland. Good film, I enjoy Zombieland. Never seen the sequel, but I view it as not as good, but you know. But what a joke, man. What? Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. Good luck outrunning any living creature. There's no way you actually think that being overweight in a zombie apocalypse is a good idea. And, side note, zombies aren't real, okay? You just threw your health in the garbage for a fictional story. It doesn't get any dumber than that.
But yeah, that was a great video. I enjoyed that. So I'm gonna give that a subscribe and a like. I would like to see more videos of this guy. Thoroughly enjoyable watch. But yeah, like I said, from all that, what I take out of that is like, when it comes to FatTok, just don't. Just try, like, you know, just don't listen to these people where they go on about, like, oh, obesity and being fat is great, it's a good thing, don't bother changing, you know, just keep eating yourself away until you probably die at the age of, in your 30s. Like, just, what you should do is just, that's the thing, it's difficult to say because everyone has their own, like, thing where, like, you know, they do what they want and, you know, everyone has... Oh, why did I put the caps on? Oh, I don't know why. But yeah, just try not to get yourself... Like, look at these people as a warning, in a way. Don't become like this, you know, be better in yourself, be the best you can possibly be, because we only have one life to live on this planet, and by God, we want to be the best we can possibly be and live a long, healthy life, you know. And living the way that they are is the way it goes. I know it's a sad thing to say. It's most likely going to be temporary because their health issues, whether they like it or not, are going to probably catch up with them one day. I mean, they might not have them now because they could be in their 20s or whatever, but at some point down the line, if they keep eating the way they do and not changing their lifestyle and everything like that, it will happen. So I would say just a balanced diet, add activity, add, you know, you can still eat what you want, but add a good amount of activity, you're golden, you know what I mean? And if you want to like push further to that, then that's great, you know, you have to have that mentality. But, well, in general, when it comes to TikTok, don't listen to what everyone says on fucking TikTok, because it's TikTok. So it's just where brain rot, you know, thrives, to be honest. So, yeah. Just be yourself, but also stay healthy and be the best you can possibly be. That's my advice to you. Just do what you know. Just be what you want to be. I know it sounds cliche, but that's the case. So don't let these people like this tell you otherwise, and you know, say that, oh, it's good. You don't need to. You don't need to change. As an American, I have the O-word pass. I am willing to sell it for a like. I don't. You don't need to sell it to me because I've already got one. I got one. I was one of the rare ones to have the O-pass, so I'm allowed to say it. Right, so that's that video then. Like I said, it was a great video. Went into depth about a decent amount of things. So yeah. So what other video do we have on the agenda? Well, the one I was going to look at is we're going to go for a bit more like of a less cringe one. Let's go for the Batman Arkham series. Is it really that long? I don't know. Because like I said, I haven't seen the Batman Arkham. No, the fucking movies. I haven't played the Batman Arkham games for a little while. I've played them all, and the DLCs, and it's one of the best gaming franchises out there. I mean, come on, it's just fucking great. They're great games, and at some point I'll probably go back to them. So yep, Batman Arkham series. I change everything.
What if I told you that in
So let's have a look at this one. This is also by someone I've never come across, so that's going to be interesting. See if we can find another person to like. It's going to be great to watch. Oh. Righty-ho. Right, so let's have a look at this one. Is there... Trying to see if I can like find why the fuck is my category in there? For some reason, my category, right, on my Twitch was Bramble the Mountain King. Why the fuck? What would I class this as, anyway? Oh, I know what category to put it as. Oh no, you can't. Fuck yeah, I just put it as What do I have my other one? May I add? I'll just leave it as that. Right, guys. So let's go into this one now. Onto the chat. I think we're all good, yeah. Right, to the next video. Right, 10 Batman Arkham theories that change everything. I love me some theories, especially about some of my favorite games of all time.
In the Batman Arkham series, Batman actually knew the Arkham Knight's secret identity all along. Joker is actually still alive following his supposed death in Arkham City. Or even that Officer Bowles, the corrupt security guard at Arkham Asylum, was actually a triple agent working for Hugo Strange and the League of Assassins. Now these are just a few examples of fan theories made by us players over the years, and today I decided to gather 10 more of the best theories I could find, including the ones I just mentioned and more. So whether you want to explore the Arkham lore further, hear about some interesting concepts that have potential to be true, or even see the stories told within the Batman Arkham games in a whole new light the next time you play, I've got you covered. So let's just jump right on in and get started with theory number 1. Batman's prestige suit has built-in fear toxin. So as we know, after Bruce's identity was revealed to the world at the end of Arkham Knight, he talks about how he needs to create a new myth, something even worse than the Batman, to defend Gotham. How does he do this? Well, he starts using Scarecrow's fear toxin to become Nightmare Batman, as you can see after activating the Nightfall protocol. Of course, along with this cutscene, you also unlock the prestige suit for getting 240%. Now, while the prestige suit could just be nothing more than a small little reward for dedicated players that doesn't do anything beyond look cool, it's been theorized that Batman canonically used this as his new suit following the events of Arkham Knight. Why? Specifically because of the golden bat symbol, where many have speculated that it is this golden color because it actually stores and discharges the fear gas that Batman uses now. Not only is having a golden symbol for no reason very out of character for Arkham Batman, but we know that the bat symbol is the strongest point on Batman's armor, so it makes a ton of sense for him to store something as precarious as fear gas where it's protected the most and not exposed in any way. So, following the events of Batman Arkham Knight, Bruce knew that he needed to become a more powerful, fearful symbol to fight against crime. To do this, he used the analyzed fear toxin that he had taken from Scarecrow in order to create his own form of fear gas, implemented it into his newly developed prestige suit both physically and aesthetically, and then used the symbol of the suit to discharge fear toxin whenever he needed to become Nightmare Batman. Now, while it's certainly a cool
Yeah, that is pretty cool, though. I mean, like I said, it's a small thing, but I feel that, yeah, that's actually, like I'd be someone who would never notice that, though. I'd be like, oh, it's just a color change of the bat logo. But that would be a pretty genius thing to do. Plus, I do think the Nightwing Batman looks pretty cool. So
concept, there are a few problems considering that there's nothing that outright says the prestige suit is even canonically used by Batman following Arkham Knight other than it, you know, being the end suit you unlock, and I think it'd be more optimal for Batman to use fear gas through a custom gadget instead. Overall, it's still my own personal headcanon though, it just gives a lot more meaning and lore to the prestige suit, which is normally pretty underwhelming with how much work actually goes into getting it.
Do you know what's really strange though? I do think though that I don't think I believe this theory that much. I think it is just like a sort of like a color change that you just get, like I said, prestige suit. To be fair, it's a cool suit, but I don't think if I done it like 240%, I would be like, I don't know if that would be a fair reward for all my work. I you know, you'd expect more from just that. Like I said, I've never like completed the game like that, like, you know, completely fully.
On to theory number 2 made by Character History, which claims that Anarchy was targeted by a secret organization and murdered sometime between Origins and Night. Now, of course, Anarchy was a very prominent villain in Arkham Origins, having an entire side mission dedicated to him, but following his one appearance early on into Batman's career, as far as we know, he's never seen or heard from again outside of a few small nods and references. His strange disappearance in the Arkhamverse is even more mysterious when you think about how much of an influential and vocal character Anarchy was. It just doesn't make sense for him to never show his face again throughout all of these years. There are a few explanations for Anarchy's strange disappearance though. Aaron Cash subtly implies that he could be locked up somewhere by the government. There's the theory by Jinpachi that Killer Croc attacked and killed him on the outskirts of Panessa Studios, but I think my personal favorite theory is that the Court of Owls got involved to silence him. Now, we know for a fact that the Court of Owls do exist within the Arkham universe. In Arkham Origins, if you...
Do you see the look of that fucking dog? I never realised that dog. Jesus, that is a scary looking dog. But like I said, from what I can hear from this theory so far, it's like anything could have happened to him. So, yeah.
Look closely, you can spot 2 Talon statues on top of the Gotham Royal Hotel, as well as find an open book containing the Court of Owls nursery rhyme. So given that they do exist in the Arkhamverse, Anarchy would be the exact type of person that they'd want to go after. I mean, he clearly has a large following in Gotham, and uses his large voice to call out the rich and corrupted. Not only does he call them out, but Anarchy was also deliberately targeting buildings controlled by these corrupt Gotham elites throughout his side mission in Arkham Origins. Now, mind you, the Court of Owls is precisely that. A secret organization made up of, yes, the rich and corrupt. I'm sure they don't like Anarchy bringing attention to their corruption, attempting to rally Gotham citizens against them, and targeting their buildings with bombs, which is exactly why they would want him dead. So, it's theorized that at some point in the Arkhamverse, the Court of Owls sent one of their Talons after Anarchy, where it hunted him down and silenced him permanently.
Well, judging from that, I think that is a pretty good possibility then. So, yeah, I would say that theory, like, yeah, good possibility. Like, I have nothing else to add to that because, well, like I said, it's all a theory, so, like, it's, you know.
Theory number 3. Red Hood didn't actually kill Black Mask. So throughout Red Hood's DLC story in Arkham Knight, Jason is obviously after Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, and tries to track him down by interrogating and killing his gang members. By the end of the DLC, Jason eventually does track down Sionis' hideout, breaks in, draws out Black Mask for a final boss fight, and ends it by throwing Sionis out of a window, causing him to plummet to his death. But was this the real Black Mask that Red Hood killed? Not likely. You see, in Arkham Origins, the mask that's worn by Sionis to cover his face is completely removable, right? Now fast forward almost a decade later to when Arkham City happened, and we can clearly see that Sionis' mask isn't removable anymore and is genuinely attached to his face. This is confirmed in his character profile, where it's stated that his mask was, quote, burnt into his skin after a fight with Batman. But wait, now in Arkham Knight, he's all of a sudden wearing that same removable mask that he used in Origins, even though the real Sionis is supposed to have his mask fully attached to his face at this point in the timeline. This has led many to believe that this wasn't actually the real Black Mask, but rather a fake. Sionis is obviously a smart and well-prepared person, so instead of going into the room to take on Red Hood himself, he rather sent in one of his men disguised as Black Mask in order to trick Jason. Now this would be completely in character for Sionis, especially considering that he pulled this exact same trick on the Joker in Arkham Origins. Jason, who was locked up for years in Arkham Asylum with no exposure to the outside world, would have no idea that the real Sionis' mask was now burnt onto his face, so it would make sense that Red Hood would have fallen for this. So while Jason Todd did kill a man who he had assumed was Roman Sionis, unbeknownst to him, it very well could have just been a poser doing the real Black Mask's bidding, all while Sionis escaped with his life, went into hiding somewhere, and can now resume his crime lord activities free of the watchful eye since he's presumed to be dead. I love how this theory...
That seems like another possibility as well. Like, yeah, the good old switcheroo. Like I said, if he's done it before, he'll obviously do it again. So, especially to someone who is like has not a lot of knowledge on the things that he's done in the past. So, but yeah, I could see this happening as well. I could see that, you know. It's just like, well, like the typical sort of like villains do, like they sort of like they'll let someone else take the fucking, you know, take the beating or take the death, and they'll just get away, like, you know, for now, until someone realizes. So yeah, the possibility for that one, I would say.
He leaves the door open for a potential return of Black Mask in the Arkhamverse. I think it's a lot better than having him permanently killed off, especially considering how he was never really given a chance to shine, always being sidelined throughout the games he appeared in. Alright, theory number 4. Joker influenced the Batmobile's design. In Batman Arkham Knight, you have to scan the Batmobile in order to solve one of Riddler's riddles, right? Well, along with this riddle being solved, you also unlock a new side story to go along with it. Now, reading through this particular story reveals some very interesting things. Essentially, Bruce asks Lucius to equip the Batmobile with more guns and more weapons. Previously, Lucius had always wanted a more offensively capable Batmobile, but Bruce had always turned him down, at least until now. Lucius sort sort of takes a mental note that Bruce has been acting very different ever since the night Joker died, and to finish the conversation, Bruce says that he needs the weapons on the Batmobile just in case. While it's told very subtly, it's theorized that this Riddler story is basically implying that the Joker disease inside of Batman's mind had already started to blossom and was taking control of Bruce's every thought way before the events of Arkham Knight. The reason the Batmobile has so many weapons, it's not because Batman had anticipated fighting an army of tanks. No, it was the Joker inside of him who had influenced Bruce into adding extra and over-the-top guns in order to turn the Batmobile into a killing machine. Batman still clearly had the majority control of his own mind, considering that the Batmobile obviously has countermeasures like the shock taser and non-lethal rounds in order to ensure that nobody would actually die if they were ran over or shot, but there's no mistaking that Joker was still in the very back of his mind, a whispering voice in Bruce's ear, twisting his every decision. Also, I want to mention that if Joker was already showing signs of influencing Batman's thoughts before Bruce was ever exposed to fear toxin, this of course entirely debunks the theory that Batman was never infected in Arkham Knight. If this is right, then Batman did in fact have the Joker disease, and it was taking hold within his mind extremely quickly, coercing Bruce into building something extremely over the top and deadly in preparation for the Jokerized Batman takeover. Theory number...
What would I say about that one? I mean, another possible one. Because the Joker, we don't, like... It'd be interesting to know that we don't know truly when all this sort of started of him getting into Batman's mind. Like you said, it could have, like, blossomed very slowly, and, like, you know, obviously from the start you won't realize it unless, like, you know, you looked a lot deeper into it. But I could see that. I'm half and half on that one, though. But, yeah, it does make it a bit interesting, doesn't it?
Number 5. The Tiger Guards were brainwashed by Hugo Strange to be the perfect counter to Batman. This one's less of a theory and basically just canon, but it's still really cool and sets up the next theory on this list, so we're gonna go over it anyway. In Arkham City, it's mentioned multiple times that Hugo Strange had been studying and practicing mind control techniques, like in this dialogue with Jack Ryder.
I was doing a piece on Strange. I mean, look around you. Does this seem like a good idea to you?
What did you find out?
The official line is he's been out of the country, studying some kind of radical psychiatric therapy technique. I did some digging and found a guy who claims Strange caused his breakdown. Seems that after the professor cured him, he couldn't even remember his name. I wasn't so sure, but I saw some poor guy get dragged off when I was being processed. Strange was picking his victims personally.
Based on this, it's believed that Hugo Strange was picking out the strongest inmates of Arkham City and then brainwashing them into becoming Tiger Guards. How do we know that Tiger was being brainwashed? Well, despite being ordered to literally commit mass murder, none of these guys were ever reluctant or hesitant to do anything Strange said in the slightest. There's even more damning evidence than that, though. You see, while fighting enemies in Predator encounters, they'll eventually become terrified if there's only a couple of them left, right? Well, unlike literally every other enemy type throughout the series, Tiger Guards will never enter this terrified state, aside from one specific situation during an inverted takedown. Now, you could argue that they're highly trained professionals, but you can't teach somebody to be immune to fear, unlike brainwashing, which definitely can. And in case you still need more proof on top of all that, when you're in the observatory during Protocol 10, you can actually hear one of the Tiger Guards say to Strange, "Yes, Master. Not Sir, not Mr. Strange, but Master." The Tiger Guards literally don't have control over themselves. They are merely mind-controlled puppets who have been hypnotized to be obsessively loyal, fully compliant, and resistant to fear. Strange knew that Batman uses fear as a tool to terrify and disorient his enemies, so he used Mad Hatter's hypnosis formula to make people immune to that very weakness.
Your formula was really quite brilliant. That's why I used it.
Then brainwashed only the strongest men he could find, and created the perfect army specifically designed to defeat Batman. Overall, a really cool concept that again is essentially canon, but it's on this list because it's the perfect setup to theory number...
Yeah, I would say that's likely. Seems like something Hugo Strange would do. So, yeah. I mean, why not? Like, innit? If you have the sort of like the means to do so. Like, obviously, a villain like Hugo Strange is obviously gonna, like, you know, he's gonna do that, isn't he? So, next theory.
Number 6, Made by Night. Frank Bowles was a mind-controlled tiger guard. I'm sure you all remember Officer Bowles, the security guard working at Arkham Asylum, who we later learn was secretly helping the Joker. Well, most people think that he was nothing more than a corrupt staff member and leave it at that, but there might actually be something much deeper going on here. You see, one interesting thing to note about his appearance is that out of all the other security staff working at Arkham, weirdly enough, Bowles is the only one who wears this red elbow pad. Yeah, the same shade of red that we later see some tiger guards wearing in Arkham City. Now, Bowles also portrays some identical characteristics to that of the mind-controlled tiger guards as well. I mean, despite being tasked to commit mass murder, he remained completely unfazed throughout the entire takeover and simply followed through on his orders. And no, these weren't strangers or people that he barely knew. Bowles had worked with these other guards for 8 years of his life, and yet showed literally zero emotion while brutally killing them.
Hey Frank, where you been? Joker's got more men on the way. They're coming around the front of the asylum. Gotta stop them getting in. Quick, get over there. Damn, come on, everyone, cover the main entrance. How many are there, Bowles? Hey, hang on, how the hell do you know what... Bowles!
Yeah, I would say from that, like, he clearly was, like, under some sort of mind control. Like, what's really interesting as well, right? If he was being controlled by Hugo Strange, right? Did Joker know about it? Because Joker, I know he feels pretty confident sometimes anyway, but, like, I don't know. Because when we play through the game, we all assume that Joker sort of, like, got into Bowles' head. You know what I mean? But, yeah, maybe he was under mind control before then. Who knows? Who knows?
Frank, what are you doing? No, put it down!
I'm killing you, bitch. I'm killing you all. That's what I'm doing.
Frank, what the hell? Quit! It's clear! Get your ass in here!
That sounds a lot like the brainwashed tiger guards, doesn't it? Not only that, but Frank's motivation for helping the Joker just doesn't make that much sense either unless something deeper is going on here. It's stated that the Joker was able to bribe Bowles into doing all of this, but I mean, what good is the money if you're blatantly committing crimes against the police and having it all be caught on camera too? It's just plain stupid. The only way to justify this is either Bowles is a complete idiot or he was forced into doing this. Now on top of that, it also seems like Bowles doesn't even like the Joker. I mean, just listen to this dialogue.
You miss me?
Shut it, clown!
A lot of people here really want to talk to you.
I mean, don't you think it's a little bit funny how a fire at Blackgate caused hundreds of my crew to be moved here?
I thought I told you to stay quiet.
You might say that he's just acting, but we've already established that if he's not mind-controlled, Bowles is just a complete idiot, and I highly doubt he'd be able to pull off an acting job while the world's greatest detective is standing right next to him. So Bowles appears to show a lot of the same signs exhibited by the brainwashed tiger guards in Arkham City, but why would Hugo Strange need to mind-control people like Bowles in the first place? Well, we know for a fact that Strange was already pulling the strings behind Arkham Asylum. By this point, he was influencing Quincy Sharp politically, which is proven by the fully developed plans for Arkham City hidden in the warden's room. It's also mentioned that there was a new guard force recently instituted at the asylum. Interesting. So it's likely that Strange was purposely trying to create an inmate takeover of the asylum in order to show the public that it wasn't safe to house these criminals inside of Arkham anymore, but rather have them be moved to Arkham City where he could continue his master plan. That's exactly why he would need inside men like Bowles working to ensure that the Joker's takeover was successful in the first place. Plus, Bowles is also specifically stated to be one of the top dogs at Arkham, and we know that Strange was explicitly targeting only the strongest of men for his brainwashing experiments, making Bowles the perfect subject. So essentially, Frank Bowles may seem like nothing more than a corrupt guard at a first glance, but if you really take a closer look, it makes a ton of sense for Hugo Strange to mind control inside men like Officer Bowles, and then order him to secretly help the Joker take over Arkham Asylum. Not only would this strengthen Strange's argument in the public eye that all of the inmates need to be moved to Arkham City, therefore helping his prison get approved, but it also explains a lot of the questionable character traits that Bowles exhibits throughout a short on-screen time. Now look, I'm not sure if this was what Rocksteady had intended, but I love how theories tying into major plot points can be made just based on one fairly insignificant character. Not only does this further emphasize the extreme influence that Strange has off-screen within the Arkham games, something that a lot of people tend to overlook when analyzing him as a villain, but it also just overall shows how much depth the Arkham games truly have as well. Coming in at number 7.
That was a bit of a lengthy one, but yeah, like I said before, like, you know, it seems like it's a possibility for that one as well. But it's a bit of a stretch, though. It's a bit of a stretch. I think, like I said, it's best as seen as like a theory for that one. But I do think he was under some sort of like, cause I don't know, like just being bribed that, like he didn't like the Joker, but just being like seen like he was easily bribed. I don't like. I don't think that's right. I think it was to do with like mind control, it seems. So.
Is probably one of the most popular Arkham theories to ever exist. The Joker never truly died at the end of Arkham City. Aside from Batman, Joker is practically the face of the Arkham franchise, so obviously killing him off was such a bold move made by Rocksteady. In fact, so bold that a lot of people didn't actually believe that the Joker was really dead. This led to many different theories, so I'm gonna go over the two most popular ones, starting with the one that claims Joker was cloned before he died.
That's what I was just about to say then. Is that I feel the Joker can really never die because there's a lot of him. There's just clones. That's why I feel that as well. I agree with that. So, yeah.
Now, if you're unaware, in Arkham City Steel Mill during the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC, you can actually find several Cadmus Labs signs scattered around the shipyard. Now, Cadmus Labs is an organization that specializes in cloning and genetic engineering, and they're extremely influential within the DC universe, which is one example being creating Terry McGinnis, aka Batman Beyond, using Bruce Wayne's DNA. The crazy part about this, though, is that not only are these signs inside the Steel Mill, Joker's old hideout, but they're all also posted up close to Joker mannequins as well, hinting that there might have been some sort of cloning project going on for the Joker. So even though the real Joker is dead, if this theory is correct, then there still could very well be a clone of him out there somewhere alive within the Arkhamverse. Now, this next theory is less focused on an alternative Joker still being alive in some way, but rather based on the possibility that the original Joker completely faked his death at the end of Arkham City and never actually died. Now, after defeating Clayface in the finale, Batman immediately drinks half of the cure and rids himself of Titan poisoning. Then he throws Talia's sword at an electricity panel, preventing Joker from using the Lazarus, which in turn causes a massive explosion, causing Batman to completely black out. Now, most players think that Batman woke up right after losing consciousness, but that might not necessarily be true. He could have been out for seconds, minutes, heck, even an hour, and we as the players still wouldn't know. So theoretically, Joker could have had plenty of time to tamper with the cure depending on how long Batman blacked out for. And what do you know, before Batman gets knocked unconscious, he's clearly holding the cure in his left hand, but when he wakes up, all of a sudden it's in his right. So Joker could have easily replaced the cure with a fake, drank the real one to cure himself, and then had Clayface shift back into sick Joker to act out his death in front of Batman, all while Bruce was completely knocked out. One of Harley's—
That would be fucking genius, though. Thinking about it. That would be something the Joker would do. And it would sort of make sense as well.
Men will even allude to this as a possibility through dialogue, which very well could be a subtle hint from Rocksteady.
What about Batman? Or that kid he hangs out with?
They're keeping a low profile since he killed Jay. Come on, Batman didn't kill Joker. That crap he injected himself with at the asylum killed him. You saw what he looked like.
Not how I heard it.
Then you heard wrong.
Well, I heard it from Harley, and she should know. She was there.
No, she wasn't. I was outside the theater with her. Batman just came out carrying Jay.
Really?
Thing I don't get is Clayface. How'd Joker pull that switcheroo on the Bat?
I guess sometimes you don't see what's right under your nose.
I just had a thought. What if it was Clayface that Batman carried out?
Now you're just embarrassing yourself. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Do you think this is TV or something?
Oh, but two Jokers ain't? Think what you like, man. I think there's more going on here than we know. I can feel it.
Now, while this is a cool concept, this theory relies on a lot of assumptions being completely correct just for it to hold any merit. Batman would have had to have been unconscious for a while to give Joker enough time to set up a fake death. Clayface had to somehow be completely okay after being drowned in Lazarus and at the center of a massive explosion, and of course Batman must have not checked detective mode, or yeah, he'd know that Joker's body was still alive and just Clayface in disguise. With that said, I highly doubt that Rocksteady of all companies would accidentally place the cure in the wrong hand of Batman's, so at the time it was probably left as a clue that just didn't end up going anywhere. But yeah, as of now, I think the door has officially closed on either of these theories being true. Joker is more than likely dead and buried, never to return in the Arkhamverse.
But that one might be as a fun theory though, and they even had like they even had like flat out had like the dialogue among the criminals as well. That's mad. They knew what they were doing there. I would say that is a fun one though. Like imagine if that was the case. But yeah, I forgot about like Clayface being like, just, yeah. I would like that to be the case, to be honest, because it would make it interesting. Like I know there's probably never going to be like another Batman Arkham game, sadly, but yeah. But I think if they did make another one, I feel that's what they would have went with. I don't know why. I just feel like Joker wouldn't actually be dead. Like it would either be like the cloning, or it would be that. I feel. So, because I know the Joker is like is like the villain to Batman. Which is funny considering he's the guy with like no powers or anything. I find that to be mad, really. But like, yeah, Joker's just great, man. He's just great in the games and the films and stuff. Oh God, no! Why did you put that Joker up? No, put that Joker away. I'm gonna even fucking say it as well. I'm gonna say it. I've seen this Joker, like the cutscenes and all that sort of stuff. This Joker's worse than Jared Leto's Joker. I don't fucking care. So fucking shit, man. So bad. Just feels like someone cosplaying as the Joker and doing it badly. My God.
Moving on to number 8.
Isn't it funny how we had this Joker in the Batman Arkham games and now we have this Joker in the recent games where there's the Joker? How sad is that?
We've got a theory that explains a lot of the inconsistencies in Batman's arsenal. So as we know, as of the time Arkham Origins takes place, Bruce is currently in year 2 of his Batman career. Just 2 years in, he already has an extremely armored suit, access to loads of gadgets, and even has a grapnel boost to get around quicker. However, even though Arkham Asylum canonically takes place years after Origins, Batman appears to have a massive downgrade to his arsenal, even though you'd expect the opposite. He really should have it upgraded by now, right? Well, there's an obvious explanation for this. One game is a lot older than the other and is much more simple mechanically speaking. But this still doesn't make sense in-universe though, so people have tried to find possible in-universe explanations to justify this change. So as far as Batman's suit goes, it's believed that Bruce wore stronger armor in Arkham Origins because he was still so inexperienced as a vigilante. He needed as many crutches as he could get because he didn't have full faith in his own abilities, whereas in Arkham Asylum, as a now fully experienced Batman, he doesn't need heavy armor to protect him anymore. Instead, since he knows he can avoid getting shot or hit, he opts for less armor in order to have better mobility and quicker movement. As for his gadgets, it's the same thing. In Arkham Origins, he used a ton of
But why would you do that though? I'm just saying, like, even if you know that you have the confidence to, like, you know, be better, you know, as the like, I can't fucking think at the moment. Even like if you have the confidence to be better, and like you know that you're better than you was before, wouldn't you still like continue to have those crutches and improve upon them? Like, you know, better armor, you know, more equipment and better equipment, stuff like that. Like, why would you? That's what doesn't make sense. Why would you downgrade? Because what you downgrade and make it harder for yourself because you feel that you're better, more like wiser, more knowledgeable, and more like capable of like handling situations and stuff. Like, you know, like the fighting and, you know, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like even if you're inexperienced and you know, doing it, and whether you're inexperienced or experienced or not, like, I still feel that you wouldn't downgrade and make it harder for yourself. That's why I feel that nah.
Powered gadgets because he just didn't believe enough in his own combat and stealth skills yet. He needed something extra that he felt more comfortable relying on. Fast forward to Arkham Asylum, and Bruce has honed his skills so much that he doesn't need to carry so many overpowered gadgets anymore. I mean, he literally went to take on the Joker at City Hall, and the only thing he was carrying with him was batarangs. You might ask, what could possibly be the downside to carrying these gadgets just in case something gets out of hand? Well, not only would these weigh Bruce down, something he was trying to avoid, but again, he probably saw these gadgets as a crutch they shouldn't be using unless absolutely necessary. If he were to use these overpowered gadgets night in and night out, his own skills would diminish and it would just get to the point where he couldn't rely on himself anymore. When things did start to get out of hand at Arkham Asylum, Batman was willing to start carrying more overpowered gadgets on his belt because he knew he needed them to stop Joker's insane plan. But as for most regular nights where these gadgets weren't absolutely necessary, Bruce just opted to rely on his own skills to fight crime instead. Now, as for the grapple boost, we've got a theory that was recommended to me by Bugs Planet. How is it that year 2 Batman had already built a functioning grapple boost, but then all of a sudden it's called a prototype in Arkham City? Well, as we talked about, Batman used to wear much stronger armor earlier into his career. This armor was enough to withstand the G-force from the grapple boost that he used in Arkham Origins, but as he shifted to lighter armor, he just couldn't do it anymore. It put too much strain on his body. That's exactly why he had to design a new grapple boost that outputs less G-force, something that was much more fit for his less armored suits. Since it's a different version designed for his newer suits, this completely explains why Alfred calls it a prototype, even though Batman's obviously used the grapple boost before. Skipping ahead to Arkham Knight, and now that Bruce has a more armored batsuit again that's built to withstand G-force, he's able to use a much more powerful version of the grapple boost because it doesn't put as much strain on his body anymore. Again, like I said, it's obvious that Batman has a more complex moveset, suit, and gadget arsenal in Arkham Origins simply because the game was made 4 years after Arkham Asylum, and games evolve mechanically. However, I love the fact that we have theories like this that actually explains it canonically within the Arkhamverse, especially when it makes so much sense and adds even more depth to Batman's character.
I don't know about that theory. I think that's a little bit far-fetched, to be honest. I mean, I understand what he's getting at and stuff, but like, I don't know. I mean, it's not as like far-fetched as the first theory with the whole prestige Batman suit, but like, I don't know. 50-50 on that one as well. Like, the one I feel that would be the most likely out of all these so far, it's got to be the Bulls being under mind control. So.
Theory number 9, made by Gotham Paladin. The ventriloquist died during Arkham City. So if you're unaware, the ventriloquist, aka Arnold Wesker, is a crime boss who always wears a puppet named Scarface. In some iterations, Scarface legit has his own personality and controls Wesker, while in others, it's just Arnold using the puppet to act out his more evil side. Now, as for his theorized death in the Arkhamverse, well, in Arkham City, you can actually hear this hidden dialogue over the radio using the cryptographic sequencer.
Unit 12, what is your status?
Dispatch. Wesker has taken a hostage and is proceeding to shoot at other officers. Officer down! Officer down!
So Arnold was obviously involved in a shootout with the police during the events of Arkham City, but nothing is mentioned as far as the results of this shootout. We just don't know. At least until Arkham Knight. You see, inside of the police evidence room, you can actually find a section dedicated to the ventriloquist. But this isn't dedicated to Arnold Wesker. No, instead it's for Peyton Riley, the same person who usually takes up the mantle as a replacement after Wesker's death. So it's speculated that the original ventriloquist actually died in this police shootout during Arkham City, and shortly after, Peyton Riley took up the mantle herself, but eventually got caught by the GCPD a few months later. So yeah, this is definitely one of the most likely theories on this list.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that's the one. I was gonna say as well, I really need to like get like the Arkham, like the comics and stuff. I need to get more comics. Problem is that some of them are expensive. So yeah, especially the Batman ones. So I like to learn more, you know. Right. So how many theories are there left? It's probably like It's probably the final theory, maybe. Who knows?
Coming in at number 10, our final one on this list, Batman knew Jason Todd was the Arkham Knight. This one will probably make you see Batman Arkham Knight.
Why do I feel like I viewed this one before this theory? I might have. Let's have a look.
Storyline in a completely different way. Now, throughout the Arkhamverse, Batman never really prioritized finding out his villains' identities, right? I mean, look no further than Joker and Bane, two extremely dangerous supervillains, one of which knows Batman like the back of his hand, constantly playing twisted mind games and targeting his allies, while the other managed to figure out it was Bruce Wayne under the mask, broke into the Batcave, left Alfred for dead, and yet Batman never so much as attempts to find out either of these villains' true identities. All these years later, Joker and Bane still have unknown aliases in the Arkhamverse simply because, despite everything they had done, Bruce never cared about who they really were. But
do you know what's really weird? I understand how, like, the Jokers wouldn't be, you wouldn't know his real name, but I thought he might have found out about Bane's though. I swear he has, hasn't he? I mean, he's just a guy under a mask, so I don't know. I always thought that, like, he knew Bane's identity, but I guess maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
now, all of a sudden, for the Arkham Knight, it's the complete opposite and is one of Batman's top priorities. Why is that? Well, it wasn't that way throughout the whole story. When the two first meet at Ace Chemicals, Batman makes it a point that he doesn't care about the Arkham Knight's identity at all.
You're thinking, who the hell is this guy?
No. I'm just trying to decide which one of you I'm going to take out first.
Later, he starts to wonder and visibly becomes more and more paranoid. Then it gets to the point where Batman goes beyond paranoia to the point of obsessing over the Arkham Knight's identity. It's pretty much the first thing that comes to his mind whenever the two come across one another.
Who are you?
It goes further than that though, because as we continue through the game, we see Bruce progressively ask Alfred if he's found something, anything, that could lead to finding out the Arkham Knight's true identity. It's basically what he has Alfred working on the entire night while he's fighting the militia. These conversations with Alfred get to the point where you can literally hear desperation in Batman's voice when talking about the Arkham Knight's true identity.
The Arkham Knight. Tell me you have a name.
I don't, sir.
Widen the search to include anyone ever committed to Arkham because of me.
Sir?
You heard me.
Master Bruce, my sincerest apologies, but my search for the Arkham Knight's identity has proved fruitless.
Nothing?
This obsession, this desperation, is the world's greatest detective realizing that something's completely off. How does the Arkham Knight know so much about him? How does he know exactly how Batman thinks and operates? These are secrets that Bruce has never told anyone besides his closest allies. Okay, now fast forward to the big reveal. Right beforehand, the Arkham Knight drops this bombshell at the end of the excavator fight.
Don't worry, Bruce. I kept some secrets to myself.
And Batman seems completely unfazed, not contacting Alfred, not talking to himself about it in his own head. Even the Joker hallucinations don't make a big deal about it like they do with every other part of the story, just complete and utter silence, as if he was actually expecting the Arkham Knight to know that he's Bruce Wayne. You see, if this theory is right, then this whole time, deep down, Batman knew that the only logical explanation is that someone extremely close to him was the man behind the mask, and it only took a little bit of reasonable deduction to figure out that the Arkham Knight was none other than Jason Todd. Batman's logical side had already figured it out, solved the mystery extremely early on into the night. The reason we never actually see Bruce directly acknowledge this though, is because his emotional side didn't want to accept the truth. Rather, he's persistently looking for some other possibility, anything but that, to be true. That's why Batman has Alfred constantly working on the real name of the Arkham Knight. That's why you can feel Bruce's sheer desperation in these conversations. That's why the Arkham Knight's identity is such a high priority for him. Knowing the Knight's identity wouldn't really help him in his fight against Scarecrow and the militia, but he wants to put his growing fear to rest regardless and find some other man behind the mask. Some other explanation for all of this that doesn't involve his former ally turning against him. Deep down though, he knows there's only one person it could possibly be. Jason Todd. So if this theory is actually correct, then Batman already knew who the Arkham Knight was before the big reveal. He just couldn't come to terms with the fact that his former ally, his biggest failure, was back from the dead and had completely turned against him, proving once again that he is the world's greatest detective.
Wow. I mean, that one is a theory that I would feel that... I mean, like I said, Batman is like what the best, like, you know... He is one of the best investigators. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have like an inkling of like, you know, of this is a possibility that you know, that could be the case. Be someone close to me who knows me very well. Like I wouldn't be. I do feel that he felt that it was someone who was close to him. Did he know the name of who it could be? I don't know. Because, like, you know, he, like I said, he kept asking Alfred, like, oh, get me a name, I need a name. So, did he know? I feel, do you know what? I'm going to say this, I'm going to go out on a whim. I feel he didn't know who it was exactly, but I do feel he knew it was someone who knew him very well. Like, I even feel the great detective makes mistakes as well, you know what I mean? But that's what that's just what I feel anyway. I feel that he just didn't have a name to put to it. He probably had theories of his own. He had a feeling, but he didn't 100% know. I would feel. But that's what I think anyway. So yeah, some good theories there. Some which are like some possible. But also some which, maybe like one or two which I feel that's a bit far-fetched. But yeah, that was a great video. I enjoyed that. Does this person have any more like Batman content? Because I'd be happy enough to see more of that. I enjoyed that video. I really got into it. That's why I didn't talk that much. So yeah. Right. So what else can we watch? I guess. I was gonna watch the Luke Stevens. I played 4 hours of Star Wars Outlaws because I wanna see if Star Wars Outlaws is gonna be any good. I don't have high expectations of it because the way things are these days with games where they're just fucking them up sometimes. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we're gonna go for this one, and I think that'll be the last video of today. Yeah. Then I have stuff to go and do. I have to have food. I have to have a cold shower because it's boiling. And I need to like get ready to go to football training and stuff like that. You know, I have just things to do. There's not enough time. There's not enough time in the day, is there? Yeah. So going to the last video, guys. Onto this one. Because I was thinking of going to the this is one of the worst Batman Arkham Knight reviews, but I feel that to change it up, I think we'll watch this one tomorrow. If I'm probably doing a stream tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll look at this one. This Just Happened live thing, whatever. And whatever else I can find. It's probably something else. So guys, are you ready for this one? Right. It is so warm right now. Boiling. Right, so let's go on to this one.
So I recently got the...
Hold on a minute. I like Luke Stevens' content as well. I mean, it's not something I can watch every day because it's more of like a sort of like he goes into detail about a lot of stuff, but like I think he does a really good job as well. I've seen a good amount of his videos and stuff about you know, different games. So I think that's nothing on him as a content creator or anything. I just feel I have like sometimes where I just want to watch shorter videos, sometimes longer. It just depends. So, right. So let's have a look. Is Star Wars Outlaws any good in his opinion? So let's have a look.
Chance to play 4 hours of Star Wars Outlaws, and I have some thoughts. In case you're somehow not familiar with the game at this point, Star Wars Outlaws is a single-player, third-person action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe, specifically set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which means we may be seeing some familiar characters, you never know. You play as Kay Vess, who is an outlaw accompanied by a little sidekick named Nix, and you embark on a grand adventure across several planets, some familiar to Star Wars fans and some never before seen. One of the other things that's notable about Star Wars Outlaws is that it's framed as the very first fully open world Star Wars game, which for a lot of people is pretty exciting. I mean, it's a little crazy that Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises known to mankind, and we've never actually had a fully open world, or I guess galaxy game set in this universe. It's wild. But that is evidently changing with Star Wars Outlaws. Now, Ubisoft very generously flew me and my editor Jacob out to Ubisoft Forward back in June, and at that event we got a little taste and I offered some impressions. But just to recap it, I thought that Star Wars
Before he goes on about this, right? When it comes to Ubisoft games, this is where obviously, like, I feel that this game is going to be like, it's going to be an open world, it's going to have its, like, moments and stuff where you're going to come across things. But whether it's going to be, like, I don't think it's going to be completely empty, but it's going to be, like, just a lot of driving and shit like that, which I feel is pretty cool to be on the speed bike by there. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I reckon it's gonna be the typical Ubisoft shit where, like, you know, you for the side stuff you get a good amount of side stuff where you do this and that, you know, like typical. Like, the missions are pretty similar, and I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't have high expectations for this because it is like, when it comes to Ubisoft games these days, I'm just like, I don't know, man. So.
Outlaws had a ton of potential and left me probably the most excited for any Ubisoft project that's currently going on. It seems like the team at Massive Entertainment have been working their butts off, and they might just have struck gold with this one. And so when Ubisoft reached out and offered to sponsor this video to give me the chance to play the game for a further 4 hours, I was like, okay, as long as I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say, and they put that in black and white in the contract. So I am contractually obligated to tell you everything I think, positive or negative. And it's mostly positive, though I do have a couple of things with Star Wars Outlaws that I'm either not sold on or that I just don't frankly like. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The point is, thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring this video. All of the links, if you want to check out Star Wars Outlaws, will be in the description box below or in the pinned comment. You can check it out there. And with that said, let's just get into the nitty-gritty. As I mentioned, I played for 4 hours, and this was mostly split into 2 parts. About 3 hours on one planet, and then 1 hour on a different one. My time with the first planet was mostly about completing story objectives and freely exploring. It's my understanding that this portion of the game is very early on, and so it makes sense that we didn't have access to a whole lot of abilities. In fact, it was during this 3-hour session that we actually got to upgrade our blaster for the first time, gaining access to what is effectively an EMP shot that can break shields or overload droids, meaning that once you've unlocked this, you can specifically swap to the shooting mode that is relevant to the given situation. And frankly, the best way I think to talk about all of this is to just break it down instead of working linearly. So we're going to go through each given topic, which I'll have timestamped, as you can see at the bottom of the video, so you can jump to the section you find particularly interesting if you feel so inclined. To begin, let's discuss the open world component. Now, even after 4 hours with the game, it's still unclear exactly how this will work. What we played was mostly linear, and while there were moments that we went into very wide open spaces on speeder bikes, for example, running away from a faction we pissed off, the actual quests and activities we were completing were very linear. This is why so many people have called this a mix of like Jedi Survivor and like Uncharted 3, and that's because they do blend in that way. At least
I do like the sound of that though. Like, I enjoy Uncharted 3. I will say though, when it comes to open world, I'm like, if you have like transport which is pretty like fast, I think it's good then. I don't know. I mean, I know for some people they like to like take everything in and stuff, but like I'm just like, yeah. It's the same with like Hogwarts Legacy when I was playing that. Like, I enjoyed when I eventually got like fucking in Hogwarts Legacy running around and stuff. I mean, it's cool seeing everything, but like just running from place to place is quite tiring. So once I got like the the broomstick, it was like, it was so much better because I could get to anywhere like much faster. But yeah, I'm hoping this is gonna be the same case with the speeder bike, because it looks like it might be a pretty fast vehicle, which you can get around in a good amount of time around the map and stuff. So yeah, hopefully.
Least what press and media have been able to play so far. Ubisoft keeps insisting that there is a major open world component to this. They're advertising it as the first Star Wars game ever with a fully open world and all that. And I have no doubt eventually the game opens up and lets you do that. But all that we've gotten to play so far has been like the opening hours that are much more linear, where they're teaching you everything and keeping you on railroad tracks, basically. And then later, I'm sure they open it up and it's like, go explore, go do whatever, go wherever, whatever. We're not going to hold you back or anything. But I haven't seen any of that. And as far as I'm aware, no one else has. So that's still a big question mark.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm fucking concerned about is this game. Is, of course, that the part they let you play is the linear ones, and they don't let you play when you actually get to go out and do your own thing in the open world. Even if it's for like an hour or something. Which begs the question, is it going to be an open world where it's going to be like, is it going to be a lot of things to do? Or is it going to be a world where like it's somewhat empty in a way? Like it's a lot of like, going from A to B with not that much happening. That's what is my concern about it, really. Because like I said, I would love a Star Wars open world. I'm surprised they never really got around to doing that in the past. Of course, I enjoyed the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I've yet to get around to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I'm going to at some point. But yeah, I'm surprised no one's ever tried to do an open world with it. So yeah. But yeah, that bit wary about that, So
for me and for everybody else is people are saying that this is open world and that's a big component of this game, but we just haven't gotten a chance to really see how that works. The trailer at Ubisoft Forward definitely explained this a little bit, and some interviews with developers have expressed some of the open world components, but it still remains to be seen how exactly this is going to function. I'm excited to see how it works because I think that the worlds that they've built have a lot of potential to be explored freely and openly. There's all sorts of little side quests and side activities that I came across that we'll talk about in a few minutes that were very, very interesting, but I haven't seen exactly how this is going to play out in regular gameplay. This is Finley, by the way. He's being a trooper. He's going to the vet here later this afternoon, so we had to get some medicine to chill him out that the vet gave us, and he's not that happy with me right now. It apparently didn't taste very good. What I will say is that the open levels that we got to explore are gorgeous. If you got the chance to play Ubisoft Massive's previous game, Avatar Frontiers Pandora, you know exactly what they're capable of visually in these large open spaces. And seriously, they knocked it out of the park here too. Every blade of grass, every bush, every tree is all moving in the wind, and everything really does feel reactive and alive. And you don't realize how much that adds to a game with such large open environments until you start playing it, and then you're like, how did I live without this? Like it's so much prettier when everything, even the stuff a mile away, is moving with the breeze that you, the character, are feeling yourself, and it's swaying with your hair and your clothes as the trees drift in the distance as well. It's those little touches that add so much, the little bit of attention to detail that really brings this above and beyond your standard like Ubisoft open world. But beyond this, we didn't really get a chance to explore. As I mentioned, most of what we were doing were linear activities where we needed to get from point A to point B, and we had a set amount of time to get through it. We were given 3 hours on the first planet, and we were told that about 2.5 hours worth of story content was assigned to us, so if we wanted to get through all of that, we needed to focus on it. And that's exactly what we did, but that meant there wasn't a whole lot of time for side exploration. So exploration in these big open areas might be really good, and I just didn't get the chance to see it, or it might be pretty bland and uninteresting. I'm just honestly not sure since I didn't really get to sink my teeth into it. The next thing I want to talk about are the factions. This has been discussed at length by not just the game's developers, but also by the marketing team. In addition to this being the first truly open world Star Wars game, this also will feature a faction system where you have to keep different factions and your reputations with them in check and balanced. If you side too heavily with one faction, angering another one, you can expect to lose out on opportunities that the angered faction would have given you. And the same is true in reverse. The factions we saw were the Pike Syndicate, the Crimson Dawn, the Hutt Cartel, and the Ashiga clan. It's unclear if there will be more factions than this, and if this is just the factions we were interacting with at this point in the story, or what exactly it breaks down to. What I will say is I know some people were hoping that the Empire would be a faction that you have to juggle with as well, but from what I played and what I've experienced, it seems like the Empire is sort of its own thing. Think of like the cops in GTA 5 or any Grand Theft Auto game where they're just the referees. So you can sort of like play around with them and they are present in the story and stuff like that, but it's not like you can join that faction, which sort of makes sense. I mean, it's called Star Wars.
I mean, yeah. That sort of sucks. So I wanna be able to join the Empire. What the fuck, dude? I should be have that option to do that. I mean, come on. To be fair, right? When it comes to like the Star Wars games, it hasn't been a game yet. Has there been a game where you are like fighting for the Empire? I know in Star Wars Battlefront 2, they did the whole like oh, you get to fight as someone for the Empire, but then obviously it turns out to be like a story where like you start off fighting for the Empire, you kill a lot of Jedis, but then you realize that you're a bad person, and you join the Jedis, the people who you were killing, and then you sort of fight against the Empire. So it was sort of like a fucking stupid thing, like in sort of like it was sad to see when I played that campaign, because I thought I was going to be like fighting with the Empire and just destroying some Jedis, but I don't know. I don't think it's. And it's the same with Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I wonder if, since they call it Star Wars Jedi, right? I wonder if they would make like another sort of like opposite to it, like just call it like Star Wars Empire something whatever. That would be pretty cool. So you have like a story of it being a Jedi and a story of being in the Empire, and then maybe at some point down the line, you just have like one final game where like the characters you played at, Star Wars Jedi Empire and Star Wars Empire and Star Wars Jedi, you come in like final game and you get to choose who you want to be, and I don't know, or you'd like go back and forth with them and their stories and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. I'd find that to be pretty cool. But I doubt that's going to happen, because the most likely is we're going to get another Star Wars Jedi game at some point down the line. And that's probably going to be it for now until something else Star Wars related comes out, and yeah. So. But yeah, like the whole idea of factions, though, I like the whole idea of factions where you can just join who you want to join, and piss off other factions. So, yeah, I think that's a good addition, really.
Or it's Outlaws, for God's sake, and you're playing an outlaw who's not a member of the Empire, so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to build out that faction when...
But that's what I mean. What if I wanted to be an outlaw, then I'd go with the Empire? I don't know. Maybe I wanted to join the Empire. I wanted to, create my own... That's me, create my own path. I shouldn't have to, have those limitations where, oh, no.
It's not something Kay would ever engage with. And I mean, just think about it for 10 seconds. If they were to allow you to become friendly with the Empire or join them as a faction, then what happens when you commit crimes and the wanted level goes up that they've talked about? They just wouldn't attack you because you're a member of the faction? So
yeah, fuck it. Yeah. It's just they won't attack you, but everyone else. But what if they don't attack you, but everyone else will, like other factions and stuff, and other everyone else knows you're part of the Empire, and I don't know. Maybe you could still do that in a way, I think. Fuck it, something different, innit? Yeah.
Then you can just get away with whatever you want. It just would break down really quickly. So maybe the Empire is a faction that comes in later, or maybe it's just not. Either way,
even if you were part of the Empire for a certain amount of time, where eventually the Empire turned on you, I don't know, where or you just decided to leave. I don't fucking know. Something like that, yeah. It doesn't have to happen throughout the whole game, maybe? It's just, there's possibilities. There's possibilities, and they're quite, exciting ones. But I feel that's not going to be the case. You're not going to be able to join the Empire, I don't think that's going to happen. Which is a shame, but yeah.
I didn't see it, and I don't think it's a big deal either which way. The factions we did get to interact with were varied and interesting and had all different assignments and quests, and each one had a different vibe associated with them. The Crimson Dawn I found incredibly annoying, and their general attitude of being holier than thou was exhausting, so I did everything I could to tick them off and side with every other faction, which meant eventually I had a negative reputation with them and I lost out on opportunities they would have offered me, but it did mean that whenever I would be completing an objective for another faction, I got to fight these guys in combat instead of members of a different faction. And this plays out while you're going through other objectives as well. At one point, I was riding on my speeder bike to a main story objective, and I came across a farm that was occupied by members of a faction that I had a good reputation with. Not thinking, I just opened fire on them and started fighting, and it caused my reputation to nosedive, which I realized would be a very bad thing if I did so casually, so I went back, reloaded, and then didn't mess with them so it wouldn't affect my reputation. And that's exactly what you should hope for from a faction-based system like this, that there are actual consequences for double-crossing, or in this case, just downright assaulting a faction you are allegedly friendly with. So I was pretty impressed with the faction system. It's pretty black and white. You either have a neutral reputation with a faction, a good reputation with a faction, a bad reputation with a faction, or an extreme reputation with a given faction, positive or negative. And that's just a really wordy way of saying that you are either neutral, you have a good or bad reputation, or you have a very good or very bad reputation with them. And it seems like if you cross over to like very bad, if you are seen by members of that faction, they are immediately aggroed to you. Whereas very good, you get better deals on loot. There were certain shopkeepers that had items that were locked away behind certain reputational levels. So if you had a very good reputation, you could get this really rare item. Otherwise, you just couldn't buy it from them. And systems like that, once again, are exactly, in my opinion, how you should be implementing a faction system like this. Your decisions have impacts not just within the story, as far as we can tell, but also within the actual gameplay, allowing you to buy certain things that affect gameplay if you have good reputations with one faction versus the other. This also could lead to situations where replay value is increased, because if you want to go through the game going one route, you might miss out on things that you don't see simply because you didn't side with that faction that has those relevant quests. For example, with the hut.
Thing is, all right, this is what the question I have, right? It's all good and all that, having like these choices and stuff. But it's whether the choices are that much different. Because in some games, right, you get that, they go like, oh, you have these choices you can make and stuff like that, but then they're not that much different. So I'm hoping that either faction you go to, these decisions you make down the line and stuff, they actually like is something, different rather than just like just a different skin or whatever. So yeah.
Cartel, I would fully expect that having a good reputation with the Hutts would lead to situations where you could see Jabba the Hutt much more frequently.
Jabba!
Whereas if you have a really negative reputation with that faction, you're probably less likely to run into him. Since after all, they wouldn't have much reason to invite someone openly hostile towards them to their boss's hideout. Now moving on to the broader gameplay discussion. This I'm going to break down into a few separate...
I also want to see Jabba the Hutt in all his thickness. So I would definitely be doing what I can to appease his faction so I can meet the Holy One. Oh yes, the creature himself, the legend that is Jabba the Hutt.
Categories: the social gameplay, stealth gameplay, combat, speeder bikes, ship combat and flight, exploration, and upgrades. The first one is social gameplay. This is like going up to NPCs and talking with them based on your reputation with certain factions, trying to convince them to do one thing or the other. In a quest that we did, we wanted to speak with the head of a given faction and convince him to do something for us that I won't spoil. As part of that, we had to figure out how to get to the penthouse where he was staying. So we could speak to the bartender and try to convince them to let us up, or we could pay somebody for a key to get straight up to the top of the penthouse, or we could go around the corner and convince one of the custodians to let us into a maintenance room that has an access to open up the elevator and let us up to the top. This was cool because it was an instance of your reputation system even coming back to help you during main quest activities. And it seems like this is going to happen a handful of times. I encountered it maybe 4 or 5 times during the few hours that I was playing. So I fully expect that this is going to be a main feature of the gameplay. What I'm really interested in is how this evolves as the gameplay hours tick up and your reputation with certain factions probably becomes even more extreme. I imagine as you reach the end of the game, you maybe have a very bad relationship with, say, the Hutts or the Crimson Dawn, and a very good relationship with the Ashiga clan and the Pike Syndicate. And so I want to know how that would affect not just the side content, but also the main story stuff. Are there new routes or endings, or maybe routes you could go on the final mission / heist or something that you don't get access to if you're sided over here? That all is up in the air, but I'm excited to find out about it, which is a good thing because it means that I can see there's potential here, and it's exciting and interesting. And if they can live up to the expectation they've set here, they could hit it out of the park. With regard to
that's what I mean. I do you know what? Listen to this now, right? I still don't have high expectations, but I'm a little bit more excited for this now because like he's talking about all these different things like the upgrades, the traversal, like the stealth, the combat. Looks pretty like fluid is the other word for it, I think. Yeah, like it actually looks like it's gonna be a fun time, but still I'm gonna be realistic here. It's still Ubisoft, so I'm still going to be skeptical and I'm still going to be on my guard about this because, like, Ubisoft is I'm not saying that all their games are terrible, because they're not, but there are like moments where they just sort of slip up, and like it sounds better than it actually, you know, it turns out to be, and it turns out to be like a disappointment more than anything then. Like, do I want this game to be good? I want this game to be fucking good. I want it to be good, because I really enjoy Star Wars, you know, like, and I want there to be more good Star Wars stuff, because lately, when it comes to, like, Star Wars content, when it comes to TV shows and all that sort of stuff, they're being, like, fucking panned. It's been seen as fucking shit. Like, you know, just... So it'd be nice that this whole game's momentum, like, you know, stay the same with the Star Wars Jedi and stuff. The ball keeps rolling, you know what I mean? So the games still are good. But we just have to wait until this game releases. I am, like I said, I'm someone who does not pre-order. I don't pre-order games anymore, because I'm not taking the fucking risk, given how games, like, you know, they are these days, and now, like, it is a bit of a risk. So I'm just going to see what happens when it comes out. I'm going to look at some reviews, make sure that there's no spoilers or anything like that, and I'm going to make my own decision in whether I want to get it. And I think you guys should do the same too, because, you know, like I said, just... I don't want to fucking waste my money on a game which, like, I'm not going to play again, am I? So, especially a game of that price, because obviously people did complain about the pricing of this game as well. That's the thing. Like, the whole, like, is there the Ultimate Editions and stuff? Like, that was the complaints. And the other complaints were about the way the game looked in the cutscenes and stuff, which I agree that I've seen games that look better, but it doesn't look terrible from what I can see. So, like I said, I'm being skeptical, but I'm also, like, I'm a bit more optimistic than I was before I came into this video. Because, like I said, watching Luke Stevens, like, he does give, like, good points and stuff. Obviously, there's things which when I watch his videos, I agree and I disagree. But he does tend to have, like, good, some good points, and does go in depth about things. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm all for, like, hoping. I want good games. That's what I want. I want games to be good. And I'm just hoping for this game, right? I'm just hoping for it. But I'm going to be on my guard. I'm not being fooled. Because the last time I had hype for a game was fucking Marvel Spider-Man 2. And before that, it was Cyberpunk 2077. So, so yeah. And when it comes to games this year, I don't really think. Like, I know this sounds really like this sounds like even more like even more stupid of me, but I do have a bit of hype for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I know Call of Duty recently has been not the best. It's had a lot of fucking mixed reactions, and people complain about it, especially the Modern Warfare 3 with its fucking shitty campaign and everything like that, and the issues that it's had over time. But I think that's just because I played Call of Duty for years, and I'm just hoping so much for, like, to bring it back to form, man, to that great fucking form. I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, but it's just a bit of hope. But I also don't want to excite myself or anything like that, because I know that I've been fooled time and time before. So I'm gonna wait and see about these games, man. I'm not gonna instantly think that, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I don't do that anymore. I'm gonna wait until these games come out and see if they're any good. So, but yeah, it's nice to watch videos like this where, like, someone who is able to, like, you know, say what they need to say, and they're like, you know, even though it's only 4 hours, it's still 4 hours. You know, it's better than nothing. But I am skeptical about the open world itself. So, yeah. Continue.
Stealth gameplay, the AI of enemies is fine. Patrols are pretty standard, as you would expect in an adventure game like this. They operate with clear sight lines, and they have your standard radius of hearing, so if there is some sort of sound near them, they can pick up on that as well. Okay. And they can also be distracted with nicks or other environmental hazards, so that you pull their attention away from a location you need to get to or an enemy you need to take out. It worked fine, but I did notice multiple times where I would take out an enemy that was maybe 20 feet away from one of his buddies on patrol walking around, and after I would take them out and they just lay there on the ground passed out, I would leave and it would never draw the attention. It would never set off any alarms. Again, I don't know if it's just because I moved on fast enough that maybe that body despawned and so it wasn't an issue. I'm not sure, but there were at least 2 occasions where I thought that body's going to be found and somebody's going to freak out about it, as they probably should. But it never really came up again. It never caused any issues. It's also during...
Another question as well, the AI. That's why I question. Is the AI going to be any good? We shall see about that one. Why do I feel that... What's the character's name? Is it Nyx? Why do I feel that Nyx is going to be abused? I don't mean like in the bad sense. I mean like he's going to be like used a lot more than we think to distract enemies. I mean, fair enough. Like if it's there, you know. But yeah, that's why I have a mixed thing about with Ubisoft games as well. Is the AI? Meh.
A lot of the stealth sequences when you're going to be engaging with different mini games, such as this glyph one, which is used to open doors a lot, as is this rhythm game puzzle, which is also used on doors a lot. The glyphs are really simple and operate pretty much exactly like the game Wordle, if you're familiar with that. You have to set up these symbols in a given order. It'll tell you if one symbol is used in the final answer of the puzzle, but it's in the wrong location. It'll also tell you if it's in the right location. So after a couple rounds of trial and error, you will eventually get it and you can move on. There is an accessibility option to replace these symbols and glyphs for numbers to make it a little bit easier if you'd prefer to go that way, which I thought I would mention. As for the rhythm puzzle, this is really straightforward. It flashes a light and plays a sound, and once you get that rhythm down, you press the indicated button in the same rhythm at the same time, and when you do that, it unlocks the door and you move on. This is actually probably my favorite lockpicking minigame of any game I've probably ever played. I don't know why, it just scratches a part of my brain I didn't know I had. It's just really satisfying to like go up to a door and hear click, 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 and then you do that in the same rhythm, and all of a sudden the door unlocks. It's so satisfying. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, but I loved this minigame. It's so much better than like the old school, like move this lockpick at this angle and this, and then eventually it'll unlock. This is way better. It's also during a lot of these stealth sequences when you will start platforming. And this is...
I think whenever I think of the lockpick and stuff, I do think of like, I think it's Skyrim. It's either Skyrim or Fallout, you know, where like the whole like, yeah. But yeah, that's actually something different. They're making that's a different way to do lock picking. You know, fair enough. That's different.
This is probably the biggest gripe that I have with Star Wars Outlaws. I'm sorry, but these platforming sequences are just not very good. They were the low point of every mission that involved them. I just don't like them. There were so many times where I would jump at a platform and she just wouldn't grab on the way I was expecting her to, or I'd jump onto a platform that didn't look like you could stand on it, but you could, and then you're supposed to jump from there onto a wall and grab onto it, but I didn't realize you could jump onto the wall and grab onto it because it wasn't clearly indicated. And again, maybe it's just because we were playing a vertical slice of the game and previously they condition you to grab onto those grates more frequently, or you have a better understanding of the platforming. I don't know. But what I do know is that these platforming sections were always just frustrating and annoying. I didn't die in my time with the game at like Summer Game Fest, except during the platforming when I jumped off a ledge because she didn't grab onto something that she was supposed to be able to grab on.
Do you know what's really funny looking at the way the I know it's like a nitpick or whatever, but like in some games, right, when you jump, it feels like you have a bit more airtime. You know, it feels like, how can I describe it? For me, you have like different types of jumping in games. Like for example, like the one I just said, like it feels like you jump and you have more airtime, so you can like sort of like, yeah, you could sort of know how that like the distance and stuff like that, you know. But then there's the jumping, which I think I see what was from the game then, where like you jump, and it's sort of like the weight, like gravity pulls you down. I don't really like that type of jumping because I feel like it can be quite annoying, especially like you just said there, that she's not grabbing onto certain things, which she should be, which can cause, like you just said, a problem traversing as you go throughout the game. So that's, yeah, that's a bit of a... Because the thing is, I like platforming in games, so it's like... I don't know what to say about that one, except that, but yeah, nothing else more to say.
So the platforming is annoying and frustrating. Hopefully it tightens up in the final release.
Hopefully.
And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just really bad at this, but that was one thing I just frankly did not like. As for combat, I would say it's generally good. Using cover is a bit inconsistent, but stealth was always an option in the missions that I played. Many traps are also available to take out multiple enemies at one time, and you can even rig things to explode, for example, using nicks so that you don't alert anybody to your presence. They just chalk it up to a malfunctioning control panel or something else. I definitely got the vibe that the game leans much more heavily into stealth encounters than it does straight all-out combat. And while combat is an option, it's definitely going to be a little bit clunkier and more difficult to get through than if you just stealth your way out of situations. Some people will love this because in sort of a meta narrative sense, it makes sense because like Kay taking on 15 members of an established clan probably should not be a super easy thing to do. It probably should be a difficult challenge to overcome, but also it's a video game, so I don't think anybody's going to look at it too closely. But I would say that combat is generally fine. It's nothing to write home about, and often it was over as quickly as it began. The encounters were always pretty short and small in scope. Again, that could just be because we were playing an early section of the game, and the difficulty and complexity cranks up later. I'm not sure. There have been some trailers and things that have shown some bigger creatures and let's just say encounters, and for those I'm very, very excited. But based on what we played, it was all pretty straightforward, not particularly challenging, but also not bad by any means. It was just fine. One thing I did enjoy more than I thought I would were the speeder bike races and side activities that you could engage with. As I've alluded to a few times, some of these levels have very wide open spaces for you to explore. And for these, you basically need to use your speeder bike, as running on foot is going to be extremely slow in comparison. There were also all sorts of upgrades for speeder bikes and for your ship that we'll talk about in a little bit. And I could see these being very, very useful, as the starter speeder bike is fast, sure, but not quite as fast as what we've seen in some of the other trailers and stuff. So I would assume once you upgrade the bike, it can get real fast. Speaking of going fast, the ship...
That actually is pretty good, though. I do, from what I can see, the speeder bike actually does look a bit like quite fun to drive. You know, and it seems like it has a good, you know, good amount of speed, and like you just said, you can just, if you upgrade it, you'll probably be even faster, which is, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I like that, though. I like being able to get from point A to point B in a good amount of time, rather than just like a slow, like just sluggish and just, oh god. But yeah, there's no, like, in this game, you know, right, there's no way in a game like this I'm gonna be fucking running most of it on foot. To anyone else, unless you want to see everything the game has to offer, you're most likely not gonna be running on foot everywhere. Only to like certain points where you have to, and you can't take your speeder bike and stuff like that. But yeah, it is gonna be like, it does look fun. As for the ship, it looks okay. I prefer like the whole thing with the speeder bike, but it does look pretty cool. You can also, it's cool that you can use a speeder bike and you have your own sort of ship. I do think that's is pretty cool. You have like two forms of transport. So yeah.
Ship combat and flight was something we thankfully got the chance to experiment with. The controls for the ship combat and flight are definitely much more rigid than a game like, say, Starfield, where the ships control very nimbly. Is nimbly a word? I think it is.
Nimbly.
I'm going with it. I'm committing. If I had to describe the control system, I would say it works just like your standard third-person adventure game with flight or planes controllable in the game. It's nothing to write home about, but it definitely gets the job done. Which makes sense. This is not trying to be like a space sim Star Wars game. It's trying to be more pop culture Star Wars, which is totally fine. There is nothing wrong with that, but don't go into this thinking that you're going to have to like juggle fuel injectors or fuel distribution or anything like that. As for ship combat, it was pretty straightforward. The encounters were pretty small, but again, that might have just been because we were playing an early section of the game. Speaking of being early in the game, though, we were playing with largely unupgraded ships, weapons, and speeder bikes. We could see that there were ways to upgrade or repair different components of our ships, such as having laser turrets or improved rockets or cannons and things, but we didn't actually get to see what those would look like or how they would play. So I fully expect that this will grow even more impressive as time goes on and as you upgrade your ship, but based on what we played, we were playing on the starter ship with no upgrades, nothing else added. And I really want to stress that because I don't want anybody to go and leave this video thinking like, okay, well, this is all they've got. Like, we're playing the opening hours. We're not playing with a final character. Like, when you're playing a game such as, I don't know, any given RPG, the starter weapons and items suck. Like, even with Baldur's Gate 3, for example, you start with like the basic of the basic weapon, and it's going to do almost nothing to high-level enemies, and the encounters are all going to be super simple because they're teaching you the game. As it goes on, it gets more complex, they give you cooler stuff, and then it picks up speed and gets really, really cool, but that takes time. They're not going to show you everything they have in their hand right at the outset in the first half hour. It wouldn't make any sense. So just...
Yeah, because like if they showed you like the fully upgraded speeder bike and a fully upgraded ship and everything like that, then for people who enjoy upgrading and seeing how much better the vehicle can become, it's not going to be like exciting, you know, because you've seen what it looks like fully upgraded. So yeah, I understand that. Like I said, I know they weren't going to show a whole lot, but I do think it doesn't look. The speeder bike and ship sections don't look like anything special, but they do. It is appreciated because obviously being able to do that, like to be able to go around space and you know, just fight off enemy like hostiles and to just, you know, go around, same as on a speeder bike, to be able to get around the world quicker. What I'm thinking now, right? This is a question I have, and I think I know what's going to be the answer, but maybe is a small possibility. If you fly to the worlds, to the planets, is there a loading screen? I feel the answer is going to be yes. There's going to be a loading screen. You know, when if you get like to a certain distance to the planet, there's probably going to be like a loading screen. You're going to land there, because I feel it's going to be. It's not going to be the case where like, oh, you're just going to be able to just fly down there. Because if so, that would be cool. But like, I just feel there's going to be a loading screen for that. That's what I just feel.
Just because the session we played didn't have a lot of end game components or upgrades or anything doesn't mean those are missing or absent. It just means that we didn't see it because we were playing an early section of the game. Again, I'm sure 99% of you guys get that, but I'm sure if I don't clarify that, there's going to be somebody in the comments that's like confused. So I'll just clarify it. There was also a good amount of side content that surprised me, frankly. As I mentioned earlier, there were speeder bike races, so you could actually go on to the speeders and race NPCs and stuff. That was cool to see. We also had the chance to bet on races with weird alien horses. And this was initially pretty daunting and intimidating. Basically, they give you the profile of each of the given horses. They tell you what their current form is. They tell you how they've performed in the last few races. They tell you who the jockey effect.
Ubisoft is promoting gambling on horses, on alien horses. Oh, the shame. Yeah, that's actually that's a nice little addition, I guess. You know, if you've had enough of like going around like just destroying everyone and just, you know, just why not take some time out and bet on horse races? It's sort of like the way it sounds is similar to like the GTA casinos, isn't it? You know, where like if you're just tired of like roaming about and just like causing havoc, you just go to the casino and just like, oh, you just bet on this and all that sort of stuff, don't you? I remember, right, I didn't play on GTA 5 that much, but whenever I did, I would play with a few mates at the time, and I would go into the casino, right, and shit you not, I probably only spun that wheel like 3 times, ever, and I got like one of the higher prizes. Even like at one point, I remember like I was spinning the wheel. I just said, oh, I'll give it a spin. It's fucking, you know, it's whatever. Like, I'll just spin the wheel. I got like a really nice car out of it. And the person I was playing with it was like, fucking hell, you get that on your first try. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that's just what I do. I'm joking, obviously, but like, I remember that though. And what's nice then, I got to drive that lovely car around GTA 5 and it was fast as fuck. Which was cool. And it looked beautiful. So, but yeah, so I guess this is like, to be honest, I'm not surprised that it has something like this in it, but I'm just surprised it's horse racing more than anything. Because usually, like, they do like, a game of blackjack or poker or something like that, but like, no, it's just horse racing. So at least they're going for something different, and they obviously have the form and stuff and the race history, and which I didn't think they would add in as well, but like, yeah.
Is descriptions of the animal itself with its age, height, and weight. And if you look at all of this information, you can place bets and potentially win. And this information does indicate which one is more likely to win the race versus the others, which is kind of cool, honestly. Like, I could see a situation where somebody gets really, really good at this mini game and is just printing money as a result. But one interesting thing that my demoist let me know about was that apparently when you're playing the game and exploring the open world, you can find NPCs that are just talking. Like, you know how you walk by a bar and NPCs might have just casual dialogue playing? If you walk by some of those NPCs occasionally, very, very rarely, but it'll happen, you will find NPCs who are talking about these races. And he said sometimes they might let some information slip that could help you choose a winner in an up-and-coming race, or pick one of the horses or jockeys that is going to throw the race, or something like that. Maybe they're a fan favorite, but they're actually going to throw the race because they're intentionally betting against themselves. Because again, there's a broader theme within Star Wars Outlaws of the underworld and being an outlaw. So very few things are actually what they seem. And I just thought that was really cool. The idea that you could just be freely exploring, doing something totally different, and then overhear an NPC talking about this one jockey who's going to throw the race. And then you use that in this other mini game and you get basically an advantage in that. That's super cool to me and I love it. One of the other little things is that there's a card game basically in Star Wars Outlaws, and you can actually use Nix to like sneak under the table, peek up at the other player's cards, and then come back and tell you what they were, which is just like, it makes sense. You know, we're playing scumbag outlaws. So yeah, it makes sense that we'd be able to cheat in a game like this.
I knew it though. I knew there had to be some sort of fucking card game. I fucking knew it. I mean, come on. But the fact that you can basically cheat in that card game. I wonder, right? Do you know what would be really cool? Is if you were cheated, right? But you cheated a certain amount of times. Like the other competitors eventually, like maybe like someone started to realize that you were cheating, and maybe then it starts out like an all-out brawl. Maybe that would be cool. Like if you did it too much, there's like a consequence to you doing it too much. So maybe something like that. I don't know, because I think it'd be stupid if you were able to do it all the fucking time and no one batted an eye. Seriously, like
it's just very thematically on point, and there's a lot of little mini games like that that you'll come across, and they all are pretty well thought out and have some of those added complexities. As for side quests, we didn't get the chance to engage with much of these. As I said, we were pretty much stuck on the main story for most of our time, but there were some that I came across. There were bounty hunters we could accept contracts with. There was a time where I came across some farmers that were being attacked by a group of raiders that we could step in and defend, and many, many more. Seriously, there was a lot here. There were wide open spaces that were just wide and open without much in them. But usually on the outskirts of those areas, if you started looking for farmhouses or groups of people and NPCs, you would usually find something of interest. It's also during a lot of this side content that you're going to be collecting or searching for loot and components that are needed for upgrades. And while you occasionally may find a new pair of pants or a new belt or jacket, usually you would find components that are going to be useful in upgrading your equipment, like your blaster. As for improving your own skills, this is done with a pretty interesting system. It's just called abilities, but basically characters that you'll meet as you go through the game will give you a series of like perks. And really the best way to think of it is kind of like how the leveling system in Starfield worked, where there's a perk, but the way you level it up is by engaging with activities and clearing certain challenges associated with that skill. So if you want to improve, say, your shooting with a blaster, or you want to improve the accuracy, or you want to improve the damage output, or you want to be able to slide as you run, those all will be tied to challenges that are specific to combat in that same style. Similarly to how, like, in Skyrim, if you want to level up two-handed weapons, you have to use two-handed weapons to gain the ability points in that specific skill. Like, it only makes sense if you're going to do that thing and you want to be better at it, you got to do the thing you're trying to get better at. And in the time that I spent with the game, I unlocked a couple of new abilities and it worked pretty well. But just like in those other games, it could eventually get a little frustrating if you have some upgrade you want to do and you're really excited for it. But in order to get it, you have to go grind out 10 headshots with your blaster, or you got to go and find 5 of these items while exploring, or open 15 chests to unlock this perk rank or whatever. It can get a little tedious and annoying. It's fine if it happens organically while you're just playing the game and you're like, oh, piece of candy, I got an upgrade. But it all depends on how it's balanced. And again, it's just really hard to gauge when you only are playing a little sliver of the game that's cut out of, you know, the first few hours. So we'll keep an eye on this. Initially, I'm not opposed to the idea. I like the idea that to upgrade something, you have to do that something, but it could also just be a series of challenges that could turn into busy work. It's kind of up in the air.
To be honest, like, I think this is going to be expected. It's good in this. It's going to be some sort of grind. That's just what I feel. It's going to be some sort of grind. You know, but I feel that it's going to be optional. Like, you know, you don't. I feel you don't have to do it, but I do feel that. I don't know, but there is. I feel it is like an 80% chance it's going to be. Well, it's Ubisoft. 90% chance it's going to be some sort of grind.
What's not up in the air are the visuals. This game is gorgeous. The art direction is tremendous. The sound design is classically Star Wars in every great way possible. It is super immersive. The NPC density is incredibly high, so you feel like you're actually navigating true living areas that are filled with people going about their daily lives. And there's tons of little attention to details, such as going out in the snow, seeing snow collect on your jacket, and then when you walk inside and stand near objects that run hot or vents blowing out hot air, you can see the snow melt on Kay's jacket in real time. And there's so many little details like this. They have paid attention to all of it, and again, there's even little stuff like the wind blowing outside of the bar where you meet one of your faction connections. And the shutters inside the bar are blowing with the wind that was ravaging the fields outside. Like, there's so many little touches that just make the worlds that they've created feel very unified, and they've clearly thought through, hey, if the world were like this, what would this be like? And then how would that impact this? And how would that follow from this? And it's cool to see, and it's fun to explore, which is why I'm excited to eventually get to try just freely exploring this game, because I feel like there is the potential for a lot of really cool and interesting things to be hidden around little corners, and a lot of those little pieces of attention to detail to come to light. And lastly, as
I do feel though, like when it comes to games where it's Ubisoft involved, the thing that's frustrating, there's been games in the past which had a lot of potential, but it didn't really land. Like this right now has potential, of course, just like they have had the potential with the other games of the past. But whether it will land is another story. But you know, from what I see so far, though, you know, obviously the only like bad thing he's really pointed out is the fact that there could be a grind, and the traversal doesn't seem all that great at the moment. But maybe that'll be like smoothed out for the release. But that's just have to wait and see for that. So yeah, like from what I can see though, there is promising things. It's nice that they're like, it's actually pretty good that they've gone into detail with like when it comes to certain like different situations and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's what I can say so far, really.
As for the story itself, honestly, it's really, really hard to gauge something like story in a session like this. I mean, just think of any game with a good story that you know of, and you think of playing like 2.5, 3 hours of one level and then bouncing to another level, and you've never experienced any of that story before. It's really hard to figure out what's going on, how these people know each other, what their personality is like, and why they act that way towards you. Is that because of something you did, or is that just who they are? All of those things are just up in the air because you just don't know. You're playing a little sliver of the game out of context. So it's really hard to gauge. What I will say is I still am not really sure what the main impetus of the game is. Like, what's the big pressing quest? I know we've seen in like the narrative trailer some hints as to what's going on, where you committed this heist and then you got in trouble and now you're trying to kind of dig yourself out of the hole that you were in and stuff like that. But I feel like there's probably more going on in the story, and I still have not really been able to decipher it. So I will be keeping an eye on the game, and hopefully closer to launch, or maybe just at launch, we get a better idea of what the game is. But as of right now, it seems like just your standard Han Solo light story where they're just coming in there. They're like, hey, you're a scoundrel and you're going to go do scoundrel things and have a good time while doing it. Don't take it too seriously, but there's going to be some fun mechanics for you to play with, and some beautiful places for you to visit. And that honestly, for me, is just fine. I mean, I'm just looking for a fun Star Wars game that's beautiful, immersive, and has some interesting stuff in it. And honestly, it seems like Star Wars Outlaws has all of that. It's not perfect, but no game is. There are, of course, some little things that I can point to and I'm like, yeah, the platforming I don't really like. Thankfully, it's kind of few and far between, and it's pretty rare that you actually engage with it. But other than that, like, the game's pretty solid. And of course, we're talking about a game that has not come out yet. I'm playing a build that's months and months old by the time the game comes out. So the odds are pretty high that a lot of the little bitty frustrations, such as maybe AI responses or the platforming being inconsistent, those things could likely be fixed by the time the final game comes around. And all of the core mechanics and systems here are promising, exciting, or just downright good. And it gets me pretty excited. I'm feeling pretty good about Star Wars Outlaws after trying this, which is awesome, because this was one of those games that kind of came out of nowhere and has just consistently been pretty impressive. And now, having played 4 hours of it, I can say it plays pretty well as well. I still think, based on what I've played, it's a good merger of like Uncharted 3, not as like intensely narrative as Uncharted 4, but Uncharted 3-ish blended together with like Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And that's high praise, because both of those games are great. It's just not really the open world adventure Ubisoft game that I think I was expecting, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But with all of that said, I am very excited to see how Star Wars Outlaws turns out. I am very thankful for Ubisoft for giving me the chance to play the game and allowing me to say whatever I want. Because how often do you get a company that sponsors you to try one of their games that's up and coming, and then they're like, yeah, and say whatever you want. Like, you have to. If you lie, or if you just try to give us a fluff piece, we're not cool anymore. Like, that's pretty awesome that they're that open and willing to hear that feedback. So I am just very, very pleased with how all of this is going down. I'm excited to see more, and hopefully you learned a little something about Star Wars Outlaws and enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like the video. That helps me out a ton. Subscribe. Check out my second channel, Luke Stevens Live, for all sorts of extra content, live streams, live stream highlights, stuff like that. With all that said, thank you for watching. I love the gosh darn heck out of each and every single one of you. Thank you for making my dreams a reality, and I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses.
So yeah, there was that by Luke Stevens. Like I said, skeptical of the game. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Promising things, but, you know, being wary. Not pre-ordering it. The game looks... there's a lot more things that's going to be in it that I didn't expect. So I think that's surprising, but also a good thing. So yeah. But I feel this, you know, I just do feel this game is going to be quite controversial when it releases. I just do. Because it's already getting some sort of like backlash at the moment. So it's like, but yeah. It's just one of those things that, like, just have to wait and see, guys. Wait and see. That's all I can say. So it's been, that'll be my last video of today. Obviously we watched, so shout out to like Nerd, Luke Stevens, and who else was I watching? Murasaki Juice. They did great videos. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed all three of them. But like I said, I am looking to put these up on the videos. The stream, I'm looking to cut it down. I'll put them on the channel. So if you want to watch me watch a specific one in your own time, I'll just get those videos up ready for upload as quickly as I can. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I really hope you have a good day, and I shall see all of you tomorrow. There'll probably be a video up tonight, maybe. I'm not promising anything. I don't promise things. That's what I just do. Like, love me or hate me for it. But yeah, it's been good. I'm going now to just have something to eat because I fucking need something to eat. It's enjoyable doing these streams because I just get to chill. And just, you know, do all this. But yeah, the next videos will probably be this one, and it's going to be this one and something else. So, hopefully I'll have more time next time as well. So guys, thanks for watching this. Hope you have a wonderful day. Remember to subscribe, like, all that good shit, if you want to see more from me. So, yep. Obviously, this is on Twitch and YouTube. So if it's on Twitch, drop me a follow if you want to see more. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. See all of you in the next one. And I'm out. And I'm peace. So, yeah, let's just do that one. Yeah. Ooh. What a joy. What a joy.